Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com.
People are interested.
But you know what? If you send me an email, you'll get a response, and it will be from me.
And I really don't have any desire to.
You haven't watched the trailer at all?
No.
A lot of people haven't heard of the couch division, so
It's a comfy division to be in, though.
it's super comfy. It's almost too comfy at times.
Response to teams who see that as a new potential issue with districts?
Yeah, that's really a two-pronged question.
Let's see if there's any damage from that fall. There was. They snapped. 330. Still on their back. 6 seconds to go.
Or was the highest ranked, but then as votes continue to pour in, everything kind of changed around a little bit.
First Updates Now is brought to you by Twitch. Fun is now a Twitch partner and offering some awesome subscriber-only benefits. Subscribe today or get a free subscription each month when you have Amazon Prime by linking your account and clicking subscribe. Good evening. Coming up on First Updates Now, Week 6 is in the bag. 19 fantastic events that we're going to be recapping here. We have a couple special guests joining us today for our show, and of course we'll wrap up, as always, with the FRC Top 25. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
And I'm Justin Montois.
And Mike Stark is out this week, but to fill in his space, we have the wonderful Pauline Tasci from 3476 Code Orange, and of course one of our amazing shoutcasters from Game Day Live. Pauline, first off, I'm glad I got your name correct starting out with, and thank you so much for filling in today.
Anytime. It's always fun.
And also our guest this evening is Mike Corsetto from the legendary 1678 Citrus Circus, an all-around great guy. Yeah. Welcome to the show, Mike. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Thanks for having me, guys. My name's Mike. I'm the drive coach and the lead technical mentor for Team 1678, the Citrus Circuits. By day, I'm a mechanical engineer at DMG Mori, and by night, I like to build robots. So I'm happy to be here.
So multitasker is really the way it is, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, back this week is Christine Attia from Wordplay All Day. Is going to be doing an awesome robot drawing and a giveaway for that. And I know we put the spoiler up on the screen, Christine, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to be drawing today?
Yeah, guys, so to get ready for the Michigan State Champs hype, I am drawing 33's 2012 robot. This thing was absolutely epic. So I'm excited to be drawing it, and I'm excited to be back.
Fantastic. Delighted to have you back here. And don't forget to be entered to win this giveaway. We'll remind you a couple times, but please make sure you click that little follow button up there for a chance to get in. Or subscribe. You'll have 5 times more chance to win. I think that's grammatically correct. But 5 times better chance to win if you click the subscribe button and join us. You can subscribe for free through Twitch Prime. You get some awesome emotes. I know our subs in chat are going to start spamming a few emotes for us in just a little bit. But we definitely want to thank everybody who's doing that so far, and we'll have a special phrase giveaway near the end of the show, so you got to stick around till the end of the show. Christine will be letting us know what that phrase is as we get on through the show. And by the way, Corsetto, I have to, before we jump into the recap here, a lot of people are saying it's a little strange seeing you without a beanie on.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't wear a beanie all the time. It's surprising.
Really?
I don't believe it. Well, we do know.
Especially in frigid California weather, right?
Yeah, frigid, yes. That's one way to put it. So, Week 6 recap, Justin, what do you got for us?
So 19 events to cover, which is luckily on the downtrend as far as we're concerned, as far as the number of events we've had to cover each week. So, Mike, as we do with all of our guests, feel free to jump in anytime to talk about any events or teams that you want. But I think Pauline's going to start us off with recap and talk about 10,000 Lakes.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with the 10,000 Lakes Regional in Minnesota. This regional featured 63 teams that played each in a series of 8 qualification matches. The number 1 seed was snagged by Team 2500, Robotics, and selected teams 2052 and 3026 to join them. During quarterfinals, Alliance 1 fought hard against Alliance 8. Alliance 8, captained by 3184, would prove to be victorious and move on to the semifinals, defeating the number 1 seed. Not to be undermined, the second seed Alliance was sure to put up a fight with teams 5172, 2509, and 4207. The second-seeded alliance blew past quarters and semis and played against the fourth-seed alliance in finals. The fourth-seeded alliance with teams 41-98, 32-99, and 21-81 will play a rough fight in finals after winning their side elimination bracket. But in all, the second-seed alliance would win the event with a final score of 262 to 235, with 3 rotors spinning over Alliance 4's 2 rotors in finals 2. As we can see, First Steamworks is still focused on gears in some parts of the world. The Engineering Inspiration Award also went to Team 1816, who won the Safety Award at the event. Congratulations are also in order to 4607, the Coalition of Independent Students, who picked up their second Chairman's Award this weekend. The next event is the North Star Regional in the heart of Minnesota. This event featured 60 teams who also get to play in a series of 8 whole matches. You gotta love that status quo. After 80 qualification matches, teams 31-30, the Errors would seed number 1, choosing teams 17-10 and 32-77 to join their alliance. Flowing through quarter and semifinals with their dominant fuel and gear strategy, the number 1 seed would go against the 6-seed alliance of team 54-64, 24-91, and 25-74. Alliance 6 put up a hard fight in their rounds, beating the 2nd seed and the 3rd seed with their fast gear cycle times to win their side elimination bracket. Finals proved that Alliance 1 would be victorious with their intense fuel scoring during the autonomous period, proving them winners of North Star. The Regional Inspiration Award was awarded to 2177, and the Regional Chairman's Award was granted to 3928, a first-time RCA winner. Congratulations to all the great teams who fought hard this weekend in Minnesota.
Nice job, Pauline, on your first ones, by the way.
It was, yeah. She did a great job.
Yeah.
I know.
I know, wow. Humble. She fits right in, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. So I'm going to talk about New York City. So an event that may have flown under the radar for some, certainly not for me, as everyone knows, one of my favorite teams this year, 46-13, the Barker Redbacks, would look to take their 4th regional win of the season, which is insane. And they started off on the right foot, seeding number 1, getting that bonus KPA in 5 of their qualification matches. They selected 34-19 Row Hawks and 58-91 the Robo Squad. The number 1 alliance looked poised for a deep run. They would only achieve the KPA bonus once and would rely strongly on the 3 rotors, some KPA, and a little defense to get them all the way to the finals to face the number 2 seed of 694, 333, and 45-71. In what wasn't the prettiest final, both alliances would score 3 rotors, yet only have 2 robots climbing, but would be 46-13 with their KPA, which would make the difference, as Red took the first match with a score of 273 to 260. Finals 2 saw the Red Alliance stick to their game plan. 3 rotors, 3 robots ready for takeoff, and some KPA put them over the top, as they would go on to win the New York City Regional with a score of 319 to 210. So a double Kling Bling and their 6th banner of the year. 4th regional win of the year, going to 46-13. Just an incredible year for them, and another congrats to 1660, the Harlem Knights, who picked up the Engineering Inspiration Award. 4 regional wins in 1 year. That's unbelievable. I can't even. It's tough for me to comprehend that, honestly.
Hey, Justin, I just want to take a look on the screen here for the event results, by the way. 4 regional wins and 6 blue banners with the Woody Flowers Award and Chairman's Award as well, too. Absolutely insane.
4 regional wins on 3 different continents.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bonkers.
It's just in the era of everyone moving to districts. I feel like on some level, part of me still says that winning a district event still, for some reason, just doesn't add up to me as same as winning a regional. I don't know why. Just because maybe districts are still kind of new to me, and the relatively small field that districts typically have. But 4 regional wins is never going to happen again, especially as districts become more powerful. But even winning 4 district events would be insane. So to win 4 regionals the way they have is crazy, and certainly they deserve it.
Absolutely.
All right, so I want to move on and talk about the Western Canada events. Another event that may not have caught your attention, but featured several great teams, was the Western Canada Regional in Calgary. Teams from Canada, the U.S., Mexico, Turkey, Australia, China, and even Poland compete in this intense multicultural event. The number 1 seed with a tied RS of 2.22 would go to the team who would score the KPA bonus in 6 out of the 9 matches, and that was 21-22 Team Taters. They would pick up local powerhouse 43-34, the Alberta Tech Alliance, round out with 1482 Ghosts. The number 1 alliance with a shooting power of 21-22 was Lights Out. They would score the KP bonus in every match and move on to the finals to face the number 3 alliance of 50-15, 244, and 41-91. Once again, Potato Power was in play as they sliced through and deep fried their competition handily. I love the potato puns here. Taking both matches with the high KPA and scores of 392 to 305 and 375 to 215. So Chairman's and Kling Bling would go to the regional finalist 4191 IMC from Turkey and Engineering Inspiration Award of 4010 Nautilus from Mexico. So teams from all over earning a lot of hardware at the Western Canada Regional. So pretty amazing, certainly. So I'm going to hand it off now to Tyler, who's going to talk about FIM.
FIM! Like that, right? By the way, Justin, your voice is still doing quite well, man, and I'm glad to hear that's still...
I think we're really making a comeback today.
We are, absolutely. So, all right, FIM kicking off their Week 6 with the Livonia District event. Capturing the number 1 seed was 5907 CC Shambots. And they would go on to take 548 and 5239 to form a very strong alliance, but luck would not be with the number 1 alliance at this event as they'd fall in the semis in 3 matches to the number 4 alliance, 3414 Hackbots, 314 Big Mo, and 3175 Night Vision. Number 4 Alliance would face the number 2 Alliance in the finals of 28-32, 503, and 51-56. Michigan Districts have been putting up pretty low scores, actually, but these finals were quite close. Red Alliance would take the first match with a score of 269 to 255, and Blue would make a comeback with 3 rotors and 3 robots climbing to take match 2, 290 to 276. In Finals 3, both robots played the 3 rotor and 3 climb game, but it was Red Alliance with 314 Big Mo who would score 1 KPA in auto that would make the difference, as the number 4 Alliance would take the Livonia District event with a score of 306 to 305. Double gold Kling Bling was in the air. 3175 Night Vision would take the Chairman's Award. Entering Inspiration would be earned by team number 548 Robo Stangs. All right, let's move on to Maryville. Second event. Here, the Chimeras would earn the number 1 seed with a 9-3 record and 2.0 ranking score. They would select the ever-powerful 217 as their first selection and round up with 1701. Number 1 Alliance looks strong with 4 rotors scored in both the semifinals as they'd face off against the number 2 Alliance that also scored 4 rotors in both their matches in 68 Trucktown Thunder, 6002 Robotics, and 904 D Cubed. Number 1 Red Alliance took early dominance as they scored 4 rotors and some KPA in auto and defeated Blue with a score of 462 to 258. Finals 2 and 3, though, took a bit of a turn through as Blue would be able to take and hold Red to only 3 rotors. Both sides scored 3 rotors and had 2 robots climbing, would be fuel scored and teleop by the number 2 Blue Alliance that would seal the district for Blue as they won Finals 2 with a score of 269 to 264. And Finals 3 with a score of 267 to 265. More gold Kling Bling was in the air and in FIM as 68 Trucktown Thunder would take the Chairman's Award, and double silver Kling Bling would go to 1684 Chimeras. Our third event would be the Shepherd Commander event. That would be the third FIM event this weekend for all your Mass Effect people. Number 1 seed would go to a veteran team. That would be 74 Team Chaos. Team Chaos would go on to pick a very smart selection there in 910, the Fully Freeze. 910 has 2 district wins under the belt before they started this event, and they were selected in the second round in their second district, or in their first district they were selected in the second round, and in their second one they're the number 7 alliance captain. So 910 really rising up in the ranks. They would also select in 910. They'd also select 74 as well as mentioned. 74 would go up and pick up rookie 6582 Vestabots. The 305 game plus some fuel would be the number 1 Red Alliance's plan. They would hit a bump in the semifinals, losing semifinal 1, but regrouped and move on to face a number 3 seed of 4970, 5162, and 5712. In Finals 1, the number 1 Alliance failed to achieve their third robot ready for takeoff, and number 3 Blue would take it with a match score of 310 to 267. Finals 2 and 3 saw the Red Alliance get back on track with 3 rotors plus KPA, as the Blue Alliance struggled to get robots up in the air. Red would take these matches in the district with the scores of 325 to 160 and 346 to 257. Chairmans would be earned by 2771 Code Red Robotics of Stray Dogs, and entering Inspiration we go to team number 2959, Robotarians. Something I want to ask I'll wait till this FIM event's over. We'll cover this one, but interesting question about FIM to bring up. So wrapping up FIM this week would be Traverse City. Not a single team would have over a 2.0 ranking score average, but taking the number 1 seed would be 3688 Norsemen. They go on to select 3618 and run up their selection with 6098. Number 1 Alliance would struggle out of the gate, though, and lose their first quarterfinal match. While they would come back and win the next 2 quarterfinal matches, they would quickly fall to the number 4 Alliance of 6097, 1711, and 6075 in the semis. On the other side of the bracket, the most dominating alliance would be the number 3 alliance of 4391 Bravebots, 5505 V2 Robotics, who already had a blue banner, and 4398 Imprimis Dio. Number 3 line scored 4 rotors in every match with an exception to 1 match. That would be the ones that they lost in the semis and looked poised to take the event. Number 3 Blue would hold true to their dominance as they capped themselves out both times, scoring 4 rotors and 445 points. And they would defeat the number 4 Red Alliance, who would put up scores of 206 and 306. So wonderful performance by number 3 Alliance, taking the win. Chairman's going to 3618. Petoskey Paladins and the Enduring Inspiration Award would go to 4377. Boyne City Blaze. So just to take a quick break, since FIM is always long in this, the ask though is, one of the things that came up a couple of weeks ago was that we're not necessarily seeing as many FIM teams in the FRC Top 25 as we've seen previously. And I guess one thing that I've noticed is that it does seem like their event scores tend to be a little bit lower. I don't know the exact statistics on that, but do you guys think that dilution could play a bit of a thing in that? You know, there's so many district events now. Are the events being pretty diluted in Michigan now? Mike, why don't we start with you?
I think there's a high chance of that happening. I think also with the rapid growth rate that Michigan's had, I think that's caused for a lot of people new to the sport to be coming in. And when you're growing at the rate that Michigan has over the last 4 years, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I think it's at least 40% of teams in Michigan are 4 years or younger. You know, you don't even have full, generations of students on a majority of these teams almost. And so I think what you're seeing is just the growing pains in Michigan of people just getting up to speed. But I think probably what you're going to find in the next year or two, as these teams start having graduating seniors and new students coming into the classes and more tribal knowledge being built up on these teams, I think you're going to see the competitive level in Michigan grow again, like to the levels that we are used to remembering from back in the good old days, I guess. So I think it's just a byproduct of the massive growth that Michigan's seeing.
Sure. Pauline, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree with that. I think that's what's happening in Michigan. There's a slight dilution because of so many new teams. I can see it where I'm from too. But more teams, more kids going through the program, the better the experience will be. And better teams.
Absolutely. Just anything to wrap up with that, or should we move on?
Oh no, I just said that I think nobody missed the Las Vegas region, right? It was star-studded with a lot of good teams, and I think just the nature of so many events breaks up though. Back in the day, like the Greater Michigan Regional or Central Michigan, where you used to be such a 66, 67, 68, 217, 33. Everybody would be there. You wouldn't miss that event. But now with so many Mission League events, nobody knows that better than you, Tower.
Yeah.
You talked about each one of them. I think it does just dilute it a little bit, and I think the voters really pay attention to events that have a lot of good teams. You just don't see that so much in Michigan. But It's nice to have a little bit of a break. FIM has dominated the FC Top 25 for years, so take nothing away from the teams there for sure.
No, of course not. Yeah, absolutely, and it just comes down to it's a good problem to have, right? The point is to grow FRC and have the growth to it. So take that as you will. All right, Pauline, why don't you bring us into the Arizona West Regional?
All right, next up we have the Arizona West Regional, or as I like to call the extension of California Regional, since we don't have a new room here anyway. This event featured 42 teams from California and Arizona. Teams would play in a series of 11 qualification matches, and after 77 total matches, Team 330, the Beach Bots, would score the number 1 seed. 330 was our world champions last year, so we were all excited to see them put up a fight during eliminations. 330 would choose teams 3255 and 4841 to join their alliance. Not to be outdone, the second seed alliance, led by team 6314, would choose 2478 and 3019 to join them. Both alliances blew through their side of the elimination bracket. During finals, Alliance 1 and Alliance 2 would face off. Both alliances got 3 rotors turning and 3 hangs. Alliance 1 would prove winners with their fuel auto-scoring and ensuring they got the advantage early in the match. Great performance by Alliance 2. And congratulations to Team 330, 3255, and 4841. Engineering Inspiration was also granted to 4841, so you gotta love that cling bling. And the Regional Chairman's Award would be rewarded to 1165 Team Paradise. All right, and then next up, bang bang, we have the Alamo Regional. Everything's bigger in Texas, and this event was no exception. This regional featured 48 teams, and after 80 qualification matches, teams 4063 Tricks Are for Kids came out as number 1. They then chose Team 231 and 5908 to join them to round off their alliance. Alliance 3 was sure to be a heavy hitter, with Team 4206 leading with their alliance partners 5572 and 5960. Both alliances fought hard in their quarterfinal and semifinal matches, eventually making it into the finals with one another. After hard-fought finals 2, where all 4 rotors were engaged by Alliance 3, Team 231 took a hit on their robot, and Alliance 1 had to call in a backup robot, 3834, to round off their alliance for one more match in Finals 3. Finals 3 saw 3 rotors engaged, 2 climbs, and 0 fuel on both alliances. All scores were equal until fouls were calculated, and granting Alliance 1 the win. Looks like the foul points take the cake again. Congratulations are also in order for Engineering Inspiration Award winner 3103 and Regional Chairman's Award winner 3847 Spectrum, who are also our event finalists. Congratulations to all the teams.
All right, and we're back in Canada now for the North Bay event, which featured only 26 teams, so one of the smallest events of the whole FRC season. Number 1
I
seed.
love those 2 backups.
Yeah, right. And then when they both leave, everyone's on their own. The number 1 seed would go to 1305 Ice Cube with the RS of 1.58. They would select 4678 the Cybercabs and 4968 the RoboHawks. I like a lot of RoboHawks, Robotics, a lot of bird robots being successful this year. The number 1 alliance would ride the 3-rotor, 3-climb, and the little KPA into the finals to face off against number 2 alliance of 6336, 4343, and at 3543. Consistency would play key here, as it always does, as the number 1 alliance would take the first match 305 to 240. Match 2 is decided by a foul against red, as blue would take the match 2 310 to 308. So the go or go home match saw the red alliance get 20 KPA, and they would take the North Bay event 325 to 310. Double gold cling bling would go to 1305 Ice Cube for their Chairman's Award, and the Engineering Inspiration Award would be earned by 4914. So I'm going to switch off my script a little bit here, and the Makeshift Robotics, who was at the McMaster event, was nice enough to put together this summary, and I'm just going to read what they sent me because they did a really good job and able to provide a lot of details that obviously we wouldn't be able to provide because we weren't there. So the McMaster District event was held at the McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, and represented the final event in the inaugural district season in Ontario. All eyes are on this webcast as the few remaining district points were up for grabs. The competition features some of the highest scoring robots in the province and were arguably more stacked than the Waterloo event 2 weeks prior. Qualification matches featured a mix of gearing and high boil shooting, with the premier shooter being Team 2056. OP Robotics showcased their improved shooter, capable of hitting 35 fuel from the boiler in auto, rather than shooting from the face of the boiler as they had at Waterloo. In the qualification round, OP's consistent 40 KPA earned them the ranking point in 11 of the 12 matches, leading them to a 10 ranking point advantage over the next closest competitor. But the Steamworks game can change from the qualification rounds to elimination rounds with a 100-point bonus for rotors. 2056 chose Gear Cycler and Floor Pickup Specialist 188 as their first pick. Meanwhile, 4039 Makeshift Robotics declined an offer from the second seed 4907 and chose instead a spot as the 4th seed Alliance captain, where they reached down in the draft list to pick up the 26th ranked 4939 as their first pick. They won together at week 3 at Vic Park, and they picked up 2386 as their 3rd robot. Capable climbers were available all the way to the last pick, and no cheesecake was required during that lunch break. In the playoff round, the first seed cruised through quarters with impressive scores of 513 and 510, which included 4 rotors and well over 40 KPA in both matches. It set up an epic semifinal matchup between 2056 180 and 1625 versus the 4 seed led by Makeshift. In the first match, 2056's auto missed the mark, and 4039 scored a few of their own in the high boiler. With Makeshift and Allspark 9 cycling gears, the Blue Lions achieved 4 rotors before the 30-second mark, with their partner 2386 hounding 2056 all around the field. Blue's 4 rotors could not be matched by Red, and Blue took match 1 with a score of 456 to 266. In the second semifinal match went to the Red Alliance, 508 to 420. The third and deciding match had the David Braley Athletic Center exploding as it came down to a missed 13th gear placement by the Red Alliance captain, and just 12 seconds remaining, a buzzer beater climb by Makeshift. Blue took the match 445 to 368, meaning that for the first time in their history, 2056 would not play a district final. The finals would pit the winning partners from the G-Town district event, 4976 and 5406, against the winning partners from Vic Park. 3 of the teams on these alliances knew each other well, sharing the Robodrome practice facility in Hamilton. Red took the first match when 5406's battery disconnected under the airship, but things got interesting when the second match went to the Blue Alliance, the difference being 30 points in fouls. Despite the third seed pushing it to 3 matches, the rubber match being decided by 2 climbs in literally the last second, and the excitement couldn't match the semis as the 4th seed went out. So congratulations to both 4039 and 4939 on their 3rd district win, and 2056 on their Chairman's Award, 4039 on their Engineering Inspiration Award, and 2nd Clean Bling of the season. If the Hamilton event was any indication, this coming weekend's Ontario District Championship is going to be a barn burner. So certainly thanks for them for sending that information in to us. That's kind of stuff that we can only get from teams that are there. So thanks to them. And now Tower is going to talk about another great event, which was Las Vegas.
Absolutely. And I just want to comment on that too, Justin. It's like, teams, if you have insight on how events go on, please send it to us. We are more than willing to take the information you have and work it into what we're doing. It takes us a long time to write up reviews and stuff of how events work, and we're very delighted to hear what your experience was personally. We probably get about 3 or 4 teams each week that send us something that we use, so we thank those teams. But we're definitely up for, if you watched all an event. We probably didn't. We try to watch as much as we can, but you can only have so many screens up at TBA at the same time. So please, shoot us something and let us know. You can send it to us at feedback@firstupdatesnow.com. Shoot us something on Facebook, or you can PM any of us on Chief Delphi. All right, Las Vegas. So Las Vegas, it's a Sin City event, and Las Vegas did have many sins this weekend at their event, including probably one of the most cringe-worthy alliance selections I've ever heard in my experience in FRC. They had only selected 1 round of teams before they were told to go back and pick another round, so that was interesting. The good news is that teams that were present were pure at heart, and we saw powerhouse teams storm the field, including 118, 148, 842, 968, 987, 1538, 1678, 2045, 3647, 4499, 5012, and of course my favorite team, well, at least their team name at the event, 5199, Robot Dolphins from Outer Space. That earns you an extra point already for something like that. Many were looking to see who would take the number 1 seed out of this gauntlet. 148, 1678, and 118 all tied with a 2.22 ranking score, but 118 would take the tiebreaker on match points, followed by 1678 in the number 2 spot. 118 would move on to take the number 3 seed, 148 Robo Wranglers, fulfilling their t-shirt destiny, and round out their alliance selection with 968 Rock. The number 1 alliance would face some pretty stiff competition there, but they'd have to change strategies as they went through the playoffs, starting with KPA. They would evolve into scoring 4 rotors, and with the exception of a hiccup in semifinal match 2, they would move on to face the number 2 alliance of 1676 Citrus Circuits, 1538 Holy Cows, and 2637 Phantom Cats, leaving out any teams from Nevada in the finals. This would be an extreme back-and-forth final that would find both sides scoring KPA and focusing on 4 rotors. The Red Alliance would take Finals 1 with 4 rotors and a score of 473 to 246. Finals 2, though, would go the other way around. Blue would be successful in securing 4 rotors and would take Match 2, 432 to 387. Finals 3 looked like it was all about Red, but before the final score was released, even though you could have saw it on the first API or on Blue Alliance because they released it on there, a field fault was called, and we replayed a match. We'll talk about this in just a little bit. The Finals 3 replay saw the Red Alliance come out firing with an auto rotor, but Blue's auto score was not immediately counted, and they end up with 39 KPA, and 2 additional KPA transition into teleop to give them the KPA bonus. Both alliances performed well, but this came down to the 3rd robot of the Blue Alliance, 2637, performing better than the 3rd robot, a 968 on the Red Alliance. Blue would get their fourth rotor with 25 seconds with a gear to spare and would vault the blue lines to win the Las Vegas Regional with a score of 486 to 368. Chairman's War would go to 2485 Warlords, and double gold Kling Bling would go to, double, did I just say gold? Double silver Kling Bling would go to 148 Robo Wranglers. Keep your silver, give me that gold. Hey, Mike, before we get into Finals 3, because I had a question about that and kind of how the breakdown of that replay was and what your opinion was. I wanted to read a quote that was sent to me about somebody that had some inside information. They were close enough to the action to be able to send us something. So this is their quote first off. The quote was, "The blue boiler side hopper didn't release because the balls got stuck. This constituted a field fault, and the head ref knew it right away. But he wasn't sure if he could stop the match right away or let it play out, or if he should stop the match right away or let it play out. He obviously let it play out. The FTA also confirmed with HQ about the field fault, and they agreed. After the match, it was decided that 1678 did get their auto going, and that it would have affected the outcome of the match based on previous matches. They also challenged it after the match, as they should have. The decision was pretty much made before the match ended." So, Mike, I want to ask you about Finals 3, the original Finals 3 that got played. Can you kind of give us a breakdown from your perspective on what happened, and then how do you, what's kind of your reaction to how the quote that was just read here?
Right. I think I more or less see where the quote's coming from, and from the drive team perspective, this year's game, kind of jokingly, I've said that, field faults really aren't a thing in Steamworks because whatever happens, and you just have to deal with it because this field is so terrible and breaks all the time, and teams are just struggling just week after week with springs and all sorts of stuff. It's really just kind of the Wild West this year when it comes to Steamworks. And so when that boiler didn't release the balls properly, pretty much what happened was we hit the trigger, the trigger mechanism went past, so both floors actually did drop on the hoppers, and the right one, the one which we don't line up to, completely emptied, and the left one, which we do receive the balls out of, maybe 15 or 20 balls fell into our robot, but the other 30 or so were kind of bridged up in that hopper and wouldn't roll down. For some reason, the way the hoppers are designed, the plastic walls are on the outside of the 1x1 aluminum, not the inside, or I think it's 1 1/4 inch tube. And so what that means is if the balls are lined up just right, they actually can bridge the gap and not roll down, which we haven't seen happen in a match, except for when we've seen some balls jam up on one of the side of the walls and not roll down. So that was interesting, but what I was concerned with was when a couple balls have jammed up in the hopper before, I've just seen like the nearest ref hit them in like 15 or 20 seconds later, and I absolutely did not want that to happen because if a ref came over and maybe knocked them down 20 seconds later, and for example the FTA and the head ref don't see it before one of those volunteers does that, we were very likely to not get the field fault called. And it was kind of awkward that the match wasn't just foghorned right away, because in the past, at least with past games, that there's not as many things to break on the field, and something obviously goes wrong, they hit the foghorn and we replay the match. So I really think that's what should have been done in this match, but the FTA and the head ref decided to play it out for some reason or another. And when you look at the finals, the I guess unofficial but official that they posted, final match 3 original score, we lost by 30-something points, and that would have been made up if we had gotten our 40 kPa auto plus the 20-point bonus. So it definitely was a match-affecting field fault, but I really wish that we didn't have such a complicated field, so it was a little easier to recognize when something went wrong, so that it could just be foghorn and everyone play the match over again. That's what we would do in a past year's game that didn't have, like I said, a field with as many problems as we have had this year. And so it was a little odd that we didn't get that this year, but kind of makes sense given how many things go wrong with this field and don't get called field faults. So that was from our perspective. So if you'll watch the video, you'll notice our whole drivetrain kind of freaks out because we know this is a big point swing in the match, and we're not sure if we're actually going to get granted the field fault or not. So it was kind of a contentious moment for our team, seeing that and knowing that there's not a precedent set for field faults, and wondering if it was actually going to get called or not.
So I do want to ask you, I don't want to just dwell and lament on this too. I kind of just ask you about the overall event as well too, Mike, because obviously you guys, your robot was fantastic. It performed, in the end, it performed the way you needed to be, and you guys are moving on to the champs with another blue banner underneath your belt. So can you kind of give us a breakdown of the event? And of course, I think the question we got to ask you too is a little bit about alliance selections and how those conversations went, if there were any, with 118 as well.
Yeah, one, it was a great event. We loved being there. It was our first time in Vegas, and obviously the lineup was great, but the host team was great. We loved 987 and just the warm welcome we got from them, and all their students and mentors are just the best team. It's really obvious why they're the latest Hall of Fame team. They're just such a great program and great group of individuals. So we had a great time being there. All the teams were really friendly. The volunteers and the judges were awesome. And the teams were just really competitive. We've been, this is our third event now, and we've been to some really great events in California, but the number of four-rotor matches we saw, even in qualifications, made this event just a little bit more of a championship level feel for us, which was really fun to have. The rankings was pretty nuts because 118 was just tearing it up on Friday. I think they had a 3.0 average coming out of Friday, and really just felt like it was kind of in the bag that they had the first seed. They just didn't mess up at all, and they were looking amazing. And they still looked great on Saturday, but a lot of the Climeworks rope roulette did not go their way on Saturday morning, and they ended up with 3 losses. And so there was actually quite a bit of kind of lead changes going on. Even on the last day, we lost a match and had a couple of missed KPAs on Saturday. 987 and 148 had their matches as well, and they all didn't go as well as any of us would have hoped. And so there was a lot more chaos in the rankings on Saturday than I think any of us expected. But once Saturday at lunch happened, I think I was pretty confident that 118 was going to be going with 148, because 118 by far the best fuel robot at that event, and then 148 was just destroying it with gears. They had such a fast robot, and going into it, we would have loved to play with either of those teams, but I thought 148 would have been a great fit for us, given their incredible gear capacity. But obviously 118 locked in the first seed and was able to partner up with their Texas friends, and it was fun to see them play together, because they really had a really good rhythm going in a lot of their matches, which was really fun to watch. And then from the number 2 spot, knowing that 148 was taken, our scouting data really showed how epic the Holy Cows were with gears. And that was really fun, because going into Las Vegas, we had never played in a 4-rotor match ever. 3 rotors was the highest we had ever seen in a match that we played. And we actually hit 4 rotors in a qual match with 148. And then going into eliminations, we knew that we really wanted to practice the 4-rotor strategy going into champs and have some experience scoring that many gears. And so 1538 was just a really awesome pick from the number 2 spot, because they were averaging at some matches 7 gears a match, and they got a number of 4-rotor qualification matches, which really showed that they had a certain level of prowess with the gears. So actually, when I sat down with 148 strategy team and drive coach, and we started breaking down how we wanted to play limbs, I kind of turned the floor over to them, because I knew that we were going to go for our 40 kPa auto, but I told them, we really don't have any idea how to score 4 rotors, so you guys got to teach us a couple tricks. And they definitely had a couple tricks up their sleeves. If you watch some of those finals matches and watch the number of gears that 1538 was stealing out of the Red Alliance's loading station zone, it was pretty impressive the way that even they would just sneak in there super quick, and maybe 2637 would run a quick screen. They'd take a gear and get out of there before the Red Alliance could get there. A couple of those tricks were really what made the difference, I think, in the finals. It was pretty cool to watch, and I definitely give 1538 a ton of credit for teaching us a lot about what it looks like to score gears well in playoff matches. So it was a lot of fun playing with them. And like you mentioned, 2637 really did make all the difference. From the 23rd pick, I think they were 11th on our scouting list.
It's always nice.
First picks, we just went off our gear scoring list, and they were number 11 on our list, and so definitely a steal from the 23rd spot, and we were happy to have them.
Anybody else have any questions for Mike before we move on?
No, that was a great recap.
Absolutely. I guess, Mike, the only one thing that just kind of reiterate with you is that, 1538 Holy Cows, man. I mean, they came through. They were rock solid, and it was really cool to see their robot perform at a really high level and to see you guys work together for that. So kudos to your alliance. I mean, that there was a lot of very intense finals this weekend. I think Las Vegas, as Justin mentioned earlier, was one of the most viewed events that we had. So all eyes were on this, and it was an absolutely amazing set of finals matches. So it could have really gone either way. But congratulations to you guys once again for taking the Las Vegas Regional.
Thanks. Yeah, just really proud of the kids, and they had a lot of fun at the event, and especially 987, 148, 118. They all made the event just a blast for my kids. Just kind of being amongst the legends of FRCT, it was really fun to get to play with all those teams and reconnect with them. So good times had all around, I think.
That's
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I'm going to give my one last pitch, by the way. If anybody from Las Vegas Planning Committee or knows anybody there, I am more than willing to come out and MC next year. So please reach out to me. I love Vegas. I'm going out there in 2 months anyways. I don't mind coming out a second time, so just let me know. All right, let's move on to one of the closest knit districts, which would be the Indiana State Champs. 32 teams would battle it out in this event, and longtime veteran 135 Penn Robotics taking the number 1 seed, and they'd go to pick up 234 and 3147. In the district championship were 0 matches in both quals and elims, achieved a KPA bonus. Routers would play King. In quarterfinal 1, 3 matches would be played, and both alliances would score 4 routers in every match. But after a tie in match 1, the number 8 Blue Lions would take out the number 1 alliance in subsequent matches. This would open the door for the number 5 alliance to take over the mantle from the number 8 alliance in 3 semifinals matches, and they'd move on to face the number 3 seed, captained by 71, 42-72, and 49-82. 5 out of 7 playoff sets would go to 3 matches, including the finals, where the number 5 Red Alliance would come out strong, scoring 4 rotors with 3 robots ready for takeoff against Blue, who also had 4 rotors, but only 1 robot ready for takeoff. And since I don't believe I mentioned here, that would be 829, 292, and 3176. Match 2 sang a different tune, though, as the Red Alliance struggled with gear efficiency and only had 2 robots ready for takeoff. Blue was able to score 4 rotors and tied it up with a score of 449 to 259. And with it being all tied up in the finals, going to the finals 3, the Red Alliance turned on the heat as they were able to get 4 rotors, and Blue Lions with only 3, and they would take the Indiana State Champs with a score of 450 to 239. The Chairman's Award would go to that number 1 seed, 135 Penn Robotics, and Engine Inspiration would go to 3494, the Quadrangles. Big special shout out to my friend Chris Noble from 4580, earning the Woody Flowers Finals Award. Chris, congratulations.
All right, next up we have the Chesapeake District Championships. These teams have fought all season for a chance to end up here, so we were sure to see some robot iterations and new strategies arise. This event featured 58 teams to battle in a series of 116 qualification matches. In all, heavy hitters 3793 Cyber Titans would seed number 1 and choose 1111 and 4456 to join their alliance. The number 1 seed would lose in semifinals to the 4th seed alliance captained by 1885. 1885 would then move on to the finals. On the other side of the elimination bracket, we have Alliance 2, led by 384, partnering with 6334 and 5279. Alliance 2 won their side of the bracket for a shot at finals against Alliance 4. These final matches were all about the rotors. Alliance 4 achieved all 4 rotors in Finals 1, then Alliance 2 achieved all 4 rotors in Finals 2, bringing us to a Finals 3, where Alliance 2 would dominate with a final score of 452 to 212. What really set Alliance 2 apart was their auto-scored pressure, 4 rotors, and 3 robot climbs. Congratulations to the number 2 Alliance. Since this is a district championships, we have a couple of outstanding teams who won Engineering Inspiration Awards, teams 401 and 5243. Our Regional Chairman's Award winners, 1885 iElite Robotics, who were also our finalists, and Team 1629 GACO.
Am I up?
You are.
Yeah,
New
you're
England.
Any champs? All right, so the New England District Championship is one of the top tier events this weekend, of course. Many teams lines on the field?
Many teams were on the field in hope of their previous successes. Sorry, I wrote this one. My bad.
That's
Wow,
okay.
who's the writer? We should fire him.
It's my fault.
And 2 people short this week. Give me a break.
You're doing great. Hopefully their previous success will boil over into this event and on to North Champs. And with a good mix of both efficient fuel and gear scoring robots at this event, it was sure to attract a lot of attention. Earning the number 1 seed with the RS of 2.75 would be 2168, the Aluminum Falcons. They would be quick to pick up another great fuel score with 195, the Cyber Knights, and would round up with 1073, the Force team. The number 1 alliance would breathe through the quarterfinals, putting up scores of 515 and 517, but the party would look to be interrupted as they would face off against the number 4 seed of 125, 558, and 4564. The number 4 alliance would be quick to strike first with a great gear scoring by all team members, and a 125 fuel scoring as they would take semifinal match 1. Red would be quick to come back as both alliances would score 4 rotors and the KPA bonus. Think about that. But a failed climb by 45-64 on blue would allow Red to push it to a third and rubber match. Match 3 looked to be going in Blue's direction as 125 scored 31 KPA in auto, and 185 misaligned their auto shot. Quick adjustments, though, led to a defensive battle with many hard midfield collisions. With less than 15 seconds, the number 1 Red Alliance was able to secure their 4th rotor and take the win 495 to 333. Excuse me. They'd move on to face the number 3 alliance of 3719, 1519, and 5813. Here the number 1 alliance shine as they handily took both matches with 4 rotors, 40 plus KPA, and 3 robots ready for takeoff, and would take the New England District Championship with scores of 511 to 364 and 510 to 342. Chairman's awards were earned by 125 the Neutrons, 558 the Elm City Robo Squad, and 1071 Team Max, and 3467 the Wyndham Windup. Engineering Inspiration Awards would go to 4905 Andromeda 1, 5422 Storm Gears FRC, and we also want to congratulate our friend and in-house artist Christina Tia on her Volunteer of the Year award, and her father Robert Atia as a Woody Flowers Finalist Award. Christine, we want to talk to you a little bit about the event. What you can tell us what it was like to win the award, and only a couple minutes later, hearing your father's name called as a Woody Flowers Finalist Award winner.
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend. I know as a team we were kind of frustrated to not make it out of the semis because of like a lot of kind of like little bad luck moments, but I think as robot performance we kind of not peaked, but we really hit our stride this weekend. So even coming out of that as semifinalists, we were really happy. It was our first district champs chairman's award win, so we were really proud of that. That was a huge item on our to-do list this season, and I was absolutely shocked at the Volunteer of the Year award. And I'd known about my dad winning Woody Flowers because I had to somehow get him up there. His team unfortunately didn't qualify for district champs, but it was a really incredible moment for my family and for Team 175, having never had a Woody Flowers Award finalist before. So it's pretty awesome. I felt really relaxed after that for some reason, like before going to the
So, Christina, if I can ask you, you mentioned you had to try to get your dad up there somehow. What did you do in order to get him to come? What was kind of your guarantee to make him go to the event?
Well, I don't really get to see my family between like January and May, so just asking them to kind of come up. And my younger sister goes to school up at Daniel Webster, which isn't too far from there. So, and he's just a really laid back guy. So if one of his daughters asks him, "Hey, you want to come hang out and do robot stuff this weekend?" he's all for it. So it's pretty easy to get him up there. But yeah, it was an awesome weekend. New England District Champs was absolutely epic to watch. All of the were just nonstop action, and our good friends Aluminum Falcons and 195 definitely deserve that banner. So it was really awesome to see them take that home.
Yeah, it was a very, very tough semifinals that you guys played in, and especially I'm sure going in the finals 3 when 195 missed a lot of their shots, you guys had to be feeling pretty good. And to see that go back and forth and just that really tough match, it's hard to hang your head down when you play that well. And I think you guys are poised very well looking at the North Champs in just a few weeks here.
Yeah, thank you. We had a really cool moment too during semis 1 or maybe it was semis 2, where we both hit the midfield hoppers at the same exact time. And if you watch the clip, we literally go in at the same time, spend the same amount of time loading, and then like synchronized swimmers just kind of like float off and do our thing. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks, Christine, for that breakdown once again. And once again, congratulations to you for your Volunteer of the Year award. Let's move on to the Peachtree State Championship. It's a district, I find myself talking more and more about as they start to develop some new top-tier teams. Peachtree State Championship showcased 45 of the best teams in Georgia. And what they had to offer was the number 1 seed going to 49-41 RoboBid. And they would quickly select top-tier team 1746 Auto and pick up 5074 Robo Mustangs on their way back. With only one additional match in the entire tournament, it was quite a departure from those 6 match eliminations we saw just a little while before in Peachtree. The number 1 seed would rely on 4 rotors plus a few KPA in every match up to the finals, where they'd square off against the number 3 seed, 1002, 4188, and 4112. Finals 1 was a brutal display of defense on both sides, and both alliances were limited in scoring. 4188 took a hard hit with 35 seconds left in the match, which disabled them, while 1746 was not able to get all the way up on the rope and be ready for takeoff. Both alliances were only able to get 3 rotors and 1 robot ready for takeoff, and the 8 KPA in the next finals match would make the difference. By 1746, match number 1, the 8 KPA would make the difference, and they'd take match 1, 213 to 205. Match 2 saw the Red Alliance build steam as they were able to outmaneuver Blue Alliance and secure 4 rotors. The number 1 Alliance would move on to take the Peachtree State Championship with a score of 405 to 255. Chairman's would go to 1311 Kel Robotics, and Engineering Inspiration would go to 2415 Wirecats, and a double silver cling bling going to 4188 Columbus Space Program. So Justin, why don't you wrap us up with our last event coverage, which is going to be the PNW Champs, or as you say,
Pinu. Everything needs a good name. That's my policy on life. So 64 fantastic teams would come together, crown a champion, and earn their way to the World Championships. This event was nuts, with 30% of the 256 opportunities resulting in 4 rotors and a whopping 89 extra RPs awarded in the qualification matches. The number 1 seed would go to 32-38, a team we've talked about quite a few times, the Cyborg Ferrets. They would pick up 36-63, Cedar Park Robotics, and 13-18, I'm going to mess this one up, Issaquah Robotics Society.
I knew you had fun with that one.
I did my best. The number 1 Alliance struggled in their first quarterfinal matches. The Cyborg Ferrets died almost immediately, and they lost their first match. They would come back strong though, to continue to score rotors in every subsequent match and face the number 2 Alliance of 2046 Bare Metal, 2471 Mean Machine, and 1595 the Dragons. This number 2 Alliance had 5 blue banners between them coming into the playoffs, and was certainly hungry for more. With 4 rotors engaged 50% of the time in the playoffs, these two juggernauts absolutely battled. Finals 1 went off an interesting field fault start, but after replaying the match, both alliances scored 4 rotors and had 3 robots ready for takeoff. But it was the number 2 alliance who scored 2 rotors in auto and 19 KPA that would take match 1 with a score of 484 to 450. Match 2 was one of the closest finishes in FRC. Blue once again scored 2 rotors in auto to take the early lead. Red Stormbat scoring their 4th rotor with 35 seconds left and looked poised to win as 2471 dropped the final gear needed for that 4th rotor. Just before finally able to get that final rotor spinning with just 13 seconds left. At this time, there were 0 blue robots ready for takeoff, but with quick maneuverability and tenacity, all 3 blue robots are able to climb and be ready for takeoff with 1 second left to take the Pacific Northwest Championship with a score of 471 to 452. Chairmans would go to 1540, the Flaming Chickens, 2557, the Sodabots, and 4125 Confidential. Engineering Inspiration would go to 3024, my favorite team, is that their team name? And 3574, High Techers.
That is their team name, by the way.
That's good. I like that.
I just want to go back, and I'm going to turn on the audio for this, because just to hear the excitement with the final, let's go back to the final 30 seconds left in this match, just to see how crazy this match was here. So take a listen.
Dragons are holding on to another, but they are back at the wrong end of the field, and they're being held up by the IRS and the Ferrets. What's going to happen with 20 seconds remaining? 3 red robots all ready for flight. Bare Metal can't seem to get on. 12 seconds now. Here's the gear the Blue Alliance needs. They spin up the rotor. Bare Metal ready for takeoff. Here come the Dragons. Do they have enough time? 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
So you saw at the end there, I think it was 2471.
You cannot
just
imagine
had
much more
they dropped the gear 3 times or so, 2 times before they were able to pick it back up, and it was absolutely incredible to see that just kind of go through. So yeah, what an absolutely incredible set of competitions through there as well. Hey, before we move on, I think one of our events got omitted here. I want to make sure that we do cover that, and that would be the MAR event there. Sorry, a little background noise going on. So just to cover a MAR event, let's go through, and I do apologize to the teams on that. Like I said, we down a couple people today. So the MAR event featuring teams, some fantastic ones there. If you haven't looked at MAR, absolutely great set of teams. Number 1 seed going to team number 303, the test team. At MAR, they would have an absolutely fantastic record moving in, taking the number 1 seed. They would go and pick up 225 Tech Fire, did an absolutely phenomenal job in scoring KPA, so nicely done to them. By the way, 303 and 1807 tied ranking score with 2.25. Moving in there as well, but they would take the first one. They go round up and pick up 222. That's going to be Tigertrons as they move in. So the first match actually that we saw, the quarterfinal match, the Red Alliance actually didn't put up quite as much as what they were expecting. Only 227 points in first quarterfinal, but they were able to take a longer stride and able to get 4 rotors against 4 rotors, though, defeating the number 8 Blue Alliance, which I think many might have looked at to do the upset, because, of course, you had 19, 23, and 25, and 75, who have all had some upsets previously, but they would move on into the semifinals. In the semis, they would take out the number... they would take on the number 4 seed, but number 4 seed would just come through a bit stronger. Techfire not quite able to get their shots down the way that they need to. And number 4 Alliance of 4750 Burt, and they would also be allied with 365. Of course, that's going to be the Miracle Workers, and they'd run up that alliance with 272. And 272 being the Cyber Crusaders. They would take the semifinals with matches 476 and 450 over 364 and 416. They move into the finals to face the number 2 alliance of 1807 Redbird Robotics 2590 Nemesis, and they would wrap up that alliance with 3929 Atomic Dragons. In just 2 matches is all it took. The number 2 Blue Alliance would score 4 rotors in both of their matches, winning the first match 466, and taking the second match against another 4 rotors by the Red Alliance 460 to 446. So, of course, congratulations to the MAR champions of 2590, 1807, and 3929. Regional Chairman's Award, there was 2 of them for this event, going to Cyber Crusaders 272, and they were also awarded the 708 Hatters Robotics. Engineering Inspiration Awards going to 75. That's going to be Robo Raiders, and the other Engineering Inspiration Award going to 3142 Aperture. So congratulations to those teams, and we apologize about not a little bit more in-depth coverage on that event. Not bad for an ad-lib, though.
No, you did a great job.
All right, so as we get into, we're going to be getting up on the FRC Top 25 in just a little bit, but we did have a few discussion topics that we wanted to go through into this as we go through this week. We had some people post on Cheat Delphi. We're not going to be able to get to all of them because we want to make sure we get to the top 25 with enough time to spare. But I do want to kind of do this around the around the horn from some of these. And Mike, you and I talked earlier, and you kind of had a couple discussion topics that you sent through, and a couple that we've talked about a little bit. So as we go through, the first one I kind of want to bring up are just kind of what are your impressions from the district championships this week? You know, we saw some, we talked about them, some absolutely fantastic finals that we saw, and some really, really high level play. So, Mike, I'm not sure how much of the other events you really had a chance to watch or kind of read up on, but as we go through, what are kind of your thoughts in regards to just the overall prowess that district championships can bring?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting watching the different districts playing at their various championships, and I think one thing I'm seeing in this game is back when 4 rotors were very rare.
Hey Mike, I'm sorry, I gotta interrupt you there for a second. It seems like your mic is chopping out pretty bad. Would you mind just unplugging it and replugging it back in for us? Might be a little pop there.
Totally.
There we go. You're good, man.
Is this better?
Yes, way better.
Yes. Yeah, it's much better.
Oh man, okay. Well then we'll just do that. Go Mac with their internal microphones. So I think one thing I'm seeing so far is like now that four rotors are more common, it's the basic elements of the game don't change, and you need to get your climbs every match. So what we're finding is even though teams are moving up from the 3 rotors in defense to 4 rotors, and both alliances are now getting 4 rotors, then you still got to get your climbs again. So it's really interesting to see how even though the gameplay is evolving somewhat, the caps are definitely still there. And so once you reach your cap, you got to make sure you maximize all your points, or else you're not going to make it out of the tournament as a winner. So I think, for example, New England was a great example of that with the epic semifinals between 195 and 125's alliances, and just watching how even at that level of play where there's teams that are getting 30 plus KPA in auto and there's teams that are regularly getting 4 rotors, the difference is still in can your third partner climb or not, and that those are the same things that would win matches, week 1 and week 2, but it's just everyone's evolved a little bit more, and so they're maximizing their points in other game aspects, but it still does come down to those basics of you got to hit your climbs. So something I'm noticing overall is this game is definitely point limited, and so you got to make sure you're maximizing all of your points across the board, including those really critical climbs.
Pauline, just anything to add?
I mean, I have to agree with that. Like at district competitions and district championships, you can see that the level of play is increasing because you have all these teams who have to fight hard to get to district champs, but the same basics are there. You got to get your 4 rotors and you have to get your 3 climbs, and then you can, worry about the extra bonuses. I think he's 100% correct.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so our next discussion here is breakdown of the Houston and St. Louis championship spots. So an interesting thing that we've seen, of course, it's broken down geographically. We do have a few Hall of Fame teams and a couple other teams that were able to get off wait lists to go to other events here. So lots of waitlist events, teams being added this week, including Pauline, yours. I'm sure you can talk about that in a little bit as well. But Mike, how do you kind of look at the reflection of the competitiveness between South champs and North champs?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to break down the numbers once Michigan state champs, Seven Rivers, and Ontario are wrapped up after this weekend. But it's definitely becoming clear already that because of the number of regionals that feed into Houston, we're going to see a lot more of Chairman's Engineering Inspiration, Rookie All-Star Award, and 24th pick robots coming to Houston. And not that those teams don't deserve to be there at all, but they generally don't qualify the same skill level that's going to come out of like a district level competition, especially areas like New England, Michigan, et cetera. And so, I think that's going to reflect in when you look at the various OPR breakdowns and other team performance metrics that we have available. I think you'll see those stark contrasts. Another interesting thing is all of the waitlist spots that are being invited for Houston champs. I know there was probably 50 plus waitlist spots available, and a certain person in this room is also benefiting from the waitlist. But I think I'm seeing on my feed a lot of people are getting in off of the waitlist, which is great for them, but also doesn't necessarily mean that the level of competition is going to be as high as it would be in a place like St. Louis, which has very few open spots because they have so many qualifying regions, and a large percentage of those qualifying regions are coming out of the district system. So I'm a little bit concerned that the level of competition in our division at Houston maybe won't even match what we just played in at Vegas, because we had such a deep field where we weren't really worried about getting a climber as a third pick. But I'm a little concerned that we're going to be in a position where we may be having to make some modifications or work with teams to figure out how we can increase the consistency of their climb or their gear scoring. And I don't think you're going to have as many of those problems competing at an event like St. Louis. And that's just my feeling coming out of it, but I think the numbers are going to show that Houston is in a little bit of a rougher spot than St. Louis when it comes to championship level play. I'll say that.
Pauline, what do you think?
I mean, I have to agree with that. We just got off the wait list on Saturday. Our first
you
time
agree a
not
lot, by the
qualifying.
way.
Huh?
You're agreeing a lot, just want to say.
I'm sorry, I'm an agreeable person. But yeah, we got off the wait list on Saturday. The last time we didn't qualify for Worlds was our rookie year, so it was really a big deal that we didn't qualify this year, like the right way to qualify. But we got off the wait list and we accepted the offer, and we're going to Houston, and I have the same exact concerns because like a waitlist team didn't like qualify the traditional way, and they could be an awesome team. They could have amazing stuff, but traditionally they're not winning events. They're not, the best robot on the field. And it scares me a little bit because, people are losing matches because their third robot can't climb, and it's just an unfortunate way to lose. You're doing well and your third bot doesn't climb. So I know for us, at least, we're getting like a lot prepared, some cheesecake to put on a lot of robots to make sure we get all the climbs. But yeah, Houston's not going to be as fun as St. Louis, but
the event can still be plenty fun, I think. I mean, you can't just base the event solely off of the robot competitiveness. Plus, nobody's been to the Houston event yet. I'm interested to see, how just the overall venue and the overall atmosphere will be, especially with awards being done in different location and that sort of thing. I think that's going to be interesting to see something like that. I mean, that's almost reminiscent of, not even Epcot. It's like before Epcot even. So, Justin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna kind of withhold judgment. I think that Mike and Pauline are probably correct, but I'm gonna wait until I actually see the final team list, how the divisions shake out, and put some numbers behind some of these, some of the events and some of the divisions. The highest, we might get one stacked division at Houston that's better than any, division in St. Louis. So I think there's, based on what I've seen so far, I think St. Louis might be slightly more competitive, but all that matters is how the divisions break out and what alliances are formed. Look, I can't wait. I saw that the Michigan State Championship divisions came out, and it just got me really excited. Waiting for the both championships divisions to come out.
Well, we're going to have a whole all Michigan division at Champs, I think, for the amount of teams from Michigan that are qualified there. Hey, Justin, is there anything from Michigan State Champs that you saw that kind of caught your eye as those just got released a little bit ago?
Same thing I always do. I just kind of do a quick scan. I see 51, 217 together with Bedford and some other teams. 33 and 67 are together with Las Garitas, Tech Vikes. So I'm just really excited to, I don't have a lot of time right now to look through the list completely, but I'm excited to break them down a little bit. The division, that Throwdown Chief Delphi is already doing a pretty good job of, like I said, putting some numbers behind the divisions, looking at OPR, EPR, ELO, all that stuff just to see where they shake out.
Yeah, absolutely. These division names, by the way, look like it's a VEX tournament.
Yeah, a little bit.
These are all sponsored division names.
Or a NASCAR race.
Yes, either one kind of is going to turn into that. So, absolutely. Yeah, and chat, let us know if you've got a chance to look at the FIM championships. Let us know who you're excited for. Of course, we also have the Seven Rivers Regional and the first Ontario Championship coming this week. Side note, First Updates now will be doing the webcast for the Seven Rivers Regional. I do want to preface saying we do not control the feed that's coming through, so we are working. I've heard the feed might be not quite the quality we're looking for, so we are working on that. Just a heads up, but we'd be delighted to have you join us for the Seven Rivers Regional and, of course, all the other fantastic events. Just make sure you go to BlueAlliance.com and get the source that you need to get all this stuff. So, absolutely. Let's take, before we let everybody go and move into the top 25, we did have a couple of questions in the Chief Delphi chat, and I apologize because we're not going to get all of them now. Maybe we can take some of those post-show instead. And I'm going to I didn't really get a chance to screen these too much, so I'm going to kind of read through these verbatim. So, Mike, a question for you that is asked by, of course, our famous Caltran. Caltran, at least you win a question, by the way, so you're getting something. We're reading your question. That's something at least. So the question was, if by some miracle there wasn't a Serpentine draft and instead gave the number one seed the first and second pick of the draft, who would 1678 pick in that situation? So I'm not sure if that's referring to Vegas or not, but I would assume so.
Well, if it's referring to Vegas, I'm not sure if 1538 would have been around. 118 might have probably taken them as their first pick, if you know what I mean. So then,
so humble.
As the number 2 seed, we probably would have taken 987, and then another team that was really on fire at that event was 649. If you got a chance to watch them, they were rocking a really fast human player cycle for all of the event, and we had seen them before at Sacramento, and they looked really great there too.
M-Set Fish, does that sound right?
M-Set Fish, that's them. Yeah, they're a team out of the Bay Area. They've been producing some really great robots over the last couple of years. They got a really great group of smart kids on their team, and their robot was just looking great. They had a little 1 gear on the center peg plus shoot their 10 auto. that maybe made a couple in, but was still better than nothing. And then they were just on fire in teleop, scoring a ton of gears, and then had a really consistent hang. So they were actually, as a gear scorer, they were number 3 on our list, right below the Cows. And 987 was looking great all event too. So if we had to take 2 of them and the Cows and the Wranglers were off the table because 118 swooped them up, we probably would have grabbed those 2.
Absolutely. So question for everybody, and if we only take about a minute response on each one. Topic from Brendan from Celtex 5406. With the growing instances of 4-rotors and even 2-rotor autos, so 4-rotor matches and 2-rotor autos, has the brief window of opportunity for fuel bots to shine closed. He states that McMaster last weekend, 15 to 17 matches had one or both sides scoring 4 rotors. And that doesn't leave a lot of time to shoot fuel. And making up the potential lost 140-point bonus is a heck of a lot of fuel. So Mike, as somebody who is a fuel bot, and then we'll kind of take that around table, of course, to Justin and Pauline, who are both with teams as well. What is kind of your thought process in regards to 4 rotors? Is that going to totally overpower fuel from now on?
I think it's becoming clear that 3+D is going to be really hard to pull off. Not impossible, but it's a harder strategy to pull off than just riding the 4-rotor wave and just being a part of it rather than fighting against it. So I think you'll still see the top fuel team shooting fuel and auto as a tiebreaker measure, but I think if you really want to be competitive, you have to be able to get in the 4-rotor hype train, if you know what I mean. So what that means for us is it means we need to be scoring about 5 gears a match if we want to contribute to a 4-rotor alliance. And I think we're getting close to that. And I think that's a little bit of an easier jump for some of these fuel bots to make than a non-fuel bot to jump to doing 30 or 40 kPa in auto. So I think that's how it's going to play out. I think if you're a fuel bot that can't score gears, and I think there are a couple of high-level fuel bots in the game that have not exhibited the ability to score many gears, especially under defense in a match, and I think those teams have had a hard time succeeding at some competitive events. And so I think those teams in particular are going to have to be thinking through, okay, and the way this game is evolving, and we just got the team update today that says the gears aren't changing, the game's going to stay the same for champs, which is exciting on one hand, but also maybe if you were a fuel scoring robot, you would have hoped that would have changed one way or the other. So that's kind of the way I see it going down.
How about yourself, Pauline? How do you feel about fuel scoring versus gear? Especially you guys were very focused on scoring fuel originally.
Yeah, like for us, we were super focused on fuel with a weird design of 2 turrets, and then we went to being a gear robot. But I mean, I think the high level teams that are just focusing on fuel are going to still focus on fuel. And then those mid-tier teams that are trying to do a little bit of both are just going to do gears all the way through, because 4 rotors during teleop and then the 2 in auto is just hard to beat, and you got to keep going during the match to win. So I think they're just going to stick with it and do gears unless you're a high level robot that can get that KPA up there.
So Justin, 3015, you guys were scoring quite a bit of fuel, especially in autonomous. So how do you look at your strategy evolving as you go into the North Champs?
Well, we want to seed high. You know, we want to be an alliance captain in our division. And I think our fuel scoring ability, getting that RP, plus I feel like we're just because 4-rotor is becoming so common at competitive events, which I'm hoping divisions are. I think we'll be able to steal a couple extra RP from that as well. So I think fuel is going to still be super important as far as seeding high. But I think once eliminations rolls around, you got to get on the 4-rotor hype train. And I still think that it's going to be very even. I think that by the time, if not in quarters, semifinals and finals, it's almost going to be a wash again. That, you know, where 3 rotors was the wash and 3 climbs, now it's going to be 4 rotors and 3 climbs is going to be the wash. And again, it's still going to come down to fuel. I think when it's all said and done, whoever scores the most fuel is going to win. But I've been wrong before.
Absolutely. Well, thank you to everybody who submitted questions. We'll try to get to the extra ones at the end of the show. And it's, as an aside, too, if you do message at First Updates Now, I will try to get those. As mentioned, I'm pulling double duty. So if you don't mind just PM me questions you have, we'll try to get those after the show for you as well. So thank you.
All right, so we're going to kind of move in here now to the FRC Top 25. So we certainly want to thank our guest, Mike Corsetto, for coming on the show today. So 1678 is looking really, really good going to South Champs. Let's talk about some of the other stuff you guys are doing outside of your awesome robots. You guys are going to be hosting some workshops at the Capital City Classic off-season event. So you can talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we got the dates locked in for Capital City Classic late October again. I think it's the third full weekend in October, like it has been for a number of years now. This will be our third year giving our fall workshops during the event. So we'll be giving, last year I think we gave 14 workshops over the course of 2 days. And we'll be trying to do that again and maybe add a couple more in, depending on what people are interested in. But we give workshops on pretty much the whole gambit of topics related to FRC. They're given by a bunch of our mentors as well as some of our lead students on the team, and then some outside special guests like Adam Hurd or Austin Shu from 973 and 971 respectively, and really just great workshops to help teams take their programs to the next level. A lot of our past workshops are archived on our website, citruscircuits.org/fall-workshops. And I really encourage people to check it out. There's some great content up there for teams to help themselves really improve, especially in the off season. But I'd love to see some teams out there, maybe even teams coming in from out of state for the event. It's always a really good time. And we'll be co-hosting that with our friends on 2073 and 3859 again. So that's really what I wanted to plug at this. Even though we got South Champs coming up pretty soon, we're really stoked for the off season.
That's awesome. Sounds like you guys are doing some really great things. So I also want to give a special thanks to Pauline. It says on my script that, quote, the best shoutcaster ever. She probably wrote that herself. But certainly thank you for stepping into the co-host role tonight. So Code Orange just made off the wait list for South Champs. So what do you guys have in store to get ready for Houston? I'm sure you guys are kicking back into high gear here.
Yeah, we took a 2-day break, got off the wait list, so now we're back at it. So we're excited, and knowing us, we're still iterating, still making one last feature on our robot. Like last year, we put on a 3.7-pound scaler, so this year there's a light feature put onto our robot. But we're excited. We're ready to go.
Sweet.
Absolutely. And good luck to both of you guys, as you will both be competing at South Champs in just 2 weeks here. So congratulations to both of you, and we look forward to watching you guys perform at South Champs. So Justin and I will be at Vex Worlds, and we'll probably have our phones next to each other, I'm sure, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. So I wanted to check in with Christine here on her drawing progress so far. It looks like she's pretty much finalized. So why don't you bring that up to the screen so we can take a look? And I'm sorry I don't have a full screen shot right now of that, but you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It's been really cool looking at the just like intricacies of this robot. I have it zoomed in on my tablet over here, but this thing was absolutely amazing. And just getting, zooming in on the bridge manipulator and their ball pickup system, like.
I think I put the wrong robot you're doing, by the way. I'm sorry.
You what?
Which robot are you doing again?
Their 2012 robot, 33's robot.
Yeah, I put 469 2013, so that's tough.
That's it. That's a
My
mission.
kids saw that.
No, that was it was such a close decision between those two, because I loved 469's robot in 2013 because it looked like it was held together with bubblegum and popsicle sticks, and it shimmied every time it did the full court shoot. But I had to go with 33 this week. Their robots are always just super mean looking and intimidating, and this robot was probably one of the most intimidating looking robots in 2012. So I'll have to do 469's robot next time, though.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, I don't know where I got that from. Did we talk about doing that one?
Yeah, we were talking about
okay,
it.
maybe that's what I thought about that. So awesome. So we'll give that away at the end of the show. We're gonna let pretty much everybody go here as we get in the top 25. So as we do a little producer magic here, we're gonna take a look at a video from the Indiana district event with their final recap at Indiana Champs. So as we do that, we'll say goodbye to Mike and Pauline, and thank you very much. And we'll transition to the top 25, everybody.
Ain't I lost to your eyes? Every on my side. Everything I do now. Just tell me if you're out tonight. Oh, I've been dancing as long as you're looking. I don't feel alone. This music just been going on. But as long as you're looking, I'm not going home.
Hey, Justin, it's just you and me.
Everyone left us.
Oh, my goodness. So
we were pleading for them to stay, and they just wouldn't. Everyone said they had a better thing to do.
Yeah, well, that happened. It is only the FRC Top 25 after all. 4 week 6 man. Yeah, we got some fantastic teams to break down this week, and of course, top 5 alliances go through too a little bit later on. So anything to say before we start?
No, I'm just excited, and like I always do, just thank everyone for their participation in the voting. We wouldn't have anything to talk about if nobody voted. So thanks everyone for voting and tuning in, and I'm excited to break down this list for week 6.
All right, and yeah, I just want to say we had well over 200 votes again, so that was absolutely fantastic to get that many. The more we get, the better dilution we get with our posts. We did do just a heads up. I didn't know if I want to release this now, but we did do a little bit of a composite poll this week where we took with votes, and I think it evened out pretty well. Pretty much it's actually almost exactly the same as what the popular vote was. So glad to see that worked out, and let's get to the top 25.
Let's do it. All right, so we'll kick it off here in the 25th spot with team number 4678.
From Breslau, Ontario, Canada, Woodland Christian High School, it's the Cybercavs, 27-11 overall, and the winners of the North Bay District event. So a lot of Canadian flair in this top 25. Begins right here with 46-78. A strong year last year, continuing again with Steamworks. This past weekend in North Bay, they were the first overall pick, and went on to win the event. The only thing that came between them and 2 district wins was the combination 11-14 and 20-56, which likely will have another chance to go against this coming weekend at the Ontario Championship. So good luck to 46-78 as they make their way to the top at Ontario Championships.
Absolutely.
All right, that's right. I have to go with the next one then.
Yep.
See, now I know what it's like. Our team in number 24th is going to be team number 1519.
From Milford, New Hampshire, Milford area home scores is Mechanical Mayhem, 40-18 overall, are the winners of the Pine Tree District event. So anytime the number 3 Alliance can advance to the finals, it's only due to a well-coordinated strategy, and 1519 played a key role in their Alliance's trip to the finals. 1519 had a fuel scoring machine that gave them advantages the other Alliance did not have. 30-plus KPA in auto was not uncommon, and their machine has a good chance to be one of the top scoring fuel machines on their division at the championship event. So good luck to Team 1519, Mechanical Mayhem. And we will continue moving along and talk about team number 2386.
From Burlington, Ontario, Canada, Burlington Central High School, it's the Trojans, 21-24 overall, and they were the winners of the McMaster University District event. Though 2386 was taken in the final round of the Alliance selections, they were a huge part in their Alliance's success at the McMaster event. They were called on to play some defense, deliver gears, and had a solid climb, and they did all three. This versatile robot will again bring back their machine to the field at the Ontario District Championship this weekend. Will face off against, of course, some of the best of the Ontario Championship. But good luck to team number 2386.
Bum, bum, bum. We need a soundboard. We're missing a soundboard.
We should. A soundboard would be awesome. And I do have like a virtual soundboard I could do for this. And now that we have the way that we set up things before too, now we could actually do that now. So, what kind of sounds are you thinking about?
Goodbye. Just any little.
Are we banning people in chat?
Fim, anytime anything, just sometimes a well-timed soundboard play really does wonders.
All right, our number 22nd team, and I'll let you say this name, is team number 558.
From New Haven, Connecticut, Hill Regional Career High School, it's the Elm City Robo Squad, 22-27 overall, the winners of the Hartford District event. So 558 struggled to seed high at the New England Championship, but that didn't hide the fact that they were certainly a solid robot. They were selected to join the number 4 Alliance, and if you miss them on the field, it's only because they are that fast. Their time from the human load station to the airship has to be among the fastest in all of FRC, if not the fastest. So if you haven't had a chance to see that, pull up one of their matches and just see how fast they truly are. It's really impressive. They also improved on their completeness, or also proved their completeness as a team by earning the Chairman's Award as well at the New England Championship. So a great accomplishment and a confidence builder as they head to the St. Louis Championship. And good luck to 558, the Elm City Robo Squad. And moving to 21 now, we'll talk about 5687.
From Portland, Maine, the Baxter Academy for Science and Technology, it's the Outliers. 45-24-2 overall, and they're winners of the Granite State District event. Regular season for 56-87 started and ended in an impressive fashion. They won the Granite State event to start the season, where they were the second pick overall at the New England District Champs. Second overall pick at the tough New England District Champs, really. The team competed in 71 matches so far, which leaves them well experienced to join an elimination alliance at the World Championship. Congrats to the youngest team in the top 25 this week, the Outliers. They've been on a couple times already, Justin.
They have, and not just this year. They were on the last year, too. So really an impressive from really a young team.
Absolutely. All right, in our 20th spot, let's talk about team number 1305.
From North Bay, Ontario, Canada, NNSRI, it's Ice Cubed. 30-21-1 overall with the winners of the North Bay District event. So the progress 1305 has made over the season so far is very impressive. After a tough outing, ranking 37 out of 41 at Durham College, this past weekend, they're the number 1 alliance and led that alliance to the win. They were part of a Fro Rotor alliance a few times during the qualification rounds, and will need to do at least that to make the top of the list again at the Ontario Championship, which is going to be a tough event. But if the progress of their season so far is an indication, they'll certainly be competitive. So good luck to 1305, Ice Cubed. Every time I hear this team now, I just think of the Lemonade commercial.
Yeah,
Lemonade,
right.
Come on.
No.
Sign. Ice Cube.
I think it's iced tea.
It is Ice Tea. For some reason in my mind, it's
that's
Ice
what
Cube.
reminds you.
Yeah.
No, I get it, man. And yeah, it's, we're of course, Canada always votes strong in this, and we're seeing some of those Canadian teams make it in the high 20s, and I'm going to guess there's going to be a couple more as we get a little bit lower as well, too. Or higher. I don't know how it's a glass half full thing, right? Is that higher or lower?
Yeah. We never agree. I don't know. It's been debated.
Yes.
But But yes, a lot of Canadian teams, and we're going to talk about another one here in the 19th spot, and that's team number 188.
From Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and the Woburn Collegiate Institute, it's Blizzard. 22-11 overall, and they were the semifinalists at the McMaster University event. So 188, always a team that you see up there, featuring more than one unique gear ground pickup, as they were a great addition to the number one alliance at the McMaster event. When the alliance was cooking 4 rotors running with more than 50 seconds left in the match, it just wasn't uncommon to see. Hubbard, they were the first pick overall at the event and would likely go high again at the Ontario Championships. So as we saw them there, great gear scoring robot, a good alliance partner, and good luck to 188 at the Ontario District Championship.
Yeah, and like it was just mentioned in the chat, one of the best reveal videos of the year as well. When 188 had. So if you haven't seen that, certainly go check it out.
Yeah, great reveal video. All right, we're moving on to our number 18th rank for week number 6. That's going to be team number 2590.
From Robbinsville, New Jersey, Robbinsville High School, it's Nemesis, 37-27-1, and we're the winners, the MAR District Championship. So playing 3 events prior to MAR Champs, each step of the way allowed them to improve twice. Or each step along the way, allowing them to improve, twice being finalists and finally breaking through and earning gold to the MAR Champs this past weekend. They're the second overall pick, and even though they didn't shoot as many balls as the top fuel bot, they're very accurate and make each ball count. So I'm sure they're ecstatic to end the regular season with such a solid win, and will likely be a high pick at the St. Louis World Championship. So good luck to 2590. Prepping for this, I watched a few of their matches, and man, they don't have like that throughput, like that 125 that just blows you away, but they're solid. Balls come out consistently.
Yeah.
They're super accurate, and they do a really a great job putting balls in the hopper. So they're going to be another one of those, I think, sleeper picks that might not be the highest seed in their division of St. Louis, but will certainly be a high pick.
Yeah, 2590 has continually improved through their events too, because when they first started and I saw them, like, okay, it looks good. It's what I expected out of 2590, and it seems like they've continued to improve on each event so far. So yeah, definitely interested to see them at North Champs and see how well they do. Absolutely.
Definitely. All right, so moving on to one of my favorite teams of the year, in 17th, team number 4613.
From Sydney, Australia, and Barker College is the Barker Redbacks, 60 and 12 overall, and they were the winners of 4 events, most recently at the New York City Regional. You said 3 countries too, right?
3 continents.
3 continents, that's right. Yeah, absolutely insane. 4613 is having a season that may never again be matched in the history of FRC. They won 4 regionals on 3 continents, as you said. Blue banners for their Chairman's Award and for Woody Flowers Finalist Award. Just absolutely crazy, Justin, just to see that.
Yeah.
They can get the KPA bonus without ground-shattering auto mode, which to themselves makes it impressive. They're just about their business. Harvesting fuel and dropping them in the boiler. The championship gives them the opportunity to add the 7th, 8th, and 9th banners on their already incredible season. Man, I think they're going to have enough banners to share with their entire division, the way I look at it. So, absolutely phenomenal team.
I just can't believe they're only 17th. If 4 regional wins isn't enough, if your 4th regional win doesn't put you in the top 10, something is seriously flawed here.
So I want to give my thought on that, if you don't mind. I mean, so
sure.
I'll give you the counterpoint to them. 4613, the robot is fantastic. I'm not doubting that at all. But the regionals that they played in definitely aren't top-tier regionals to look at. So you have what? You had Shenzhen, you have the 2 Australia regionals, which had a couple good teams of top-tier teams, and then at New York City. So, I mean, this isn't the Las Vegas Regional. It's not the Midwest Regional. You're not seeing, the super, super top-tier teams. And I think sometimes to get that recognition, you need to play with the best of the best. And that wasn't necessarily the case in some of the events that they played in.
Yeah, absolutely. I just can't. Like I talked about in their write-up, they don't have that flashy auto mode, and to me that's what makes them so impressive. Like, they're just so confident. They just go around the field, put to the boiler, put a few in, go around the field, and they make the 40 kPa look so easy. Mm-hmm. Without that super strong autonomous mode, just makes it so impressive. So you're absolutely right though. They haven't been at the strongest events, so that's why I'm really interested to see how they're able to do in Houston. And I was just talking to one of their mentors in the chat, and he said that their kids are actually just staying through from New York City. They're going to be at Houston a week early. They're headed there right now. So, what a great.
They're like the new Hawaiian kids for traveling, man.
Exactly.
Jesus,
It's nuts. But All right, I've talked enough about 4613. Everyone knows my love for them. We'll move on here.
They got to get you a T-shirt or something, huh?
Yeah, they're working on it. I really respect that. All right, so in the 16th spot, we have team number 225.
Oh, I was supposed to cover that. 16th spot, 225, Justin.
From York, Pennsylvania, it's Techfire, 25-19 overall with the semifinals at the March Amps. So 225 was again selected to the number one alliance for the third time this season. They were fortunately blitzed in that semifinal round by an alliance that consistently got 4 rotors going against them. I still believe that despite their lack of relative success at their events, they would be ready to go again as a top seed and have another run at the playoffs. Their fuel and gear combo is deadly. It's unique, and I think it will really help them so far. So still, one of those, regardless of where they seed, still a top pick, and I wish them the best of luck at the St. Louis Championship.
Yeah, I know from talking to one of our shoutcasters, Ben Martin, is associate with 225, and I mean they were stoked as he was covering the New England District Champs, bless his heart, while March Champs was going on at the same time. So he's giving us updates as we go through on how the event's going in. Yeah, 225 I think has the potential. They have the ability to get to a really top tier level, and sometimes it doesn't work out for you always. And I think we'll hear about that in another team later on the list as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so in the 15th spot, to move along, we'll talk about Team 21-22.
From Boise, Idaho, it's Team Taters, 36-11 overall, and we're the winners of the Idaho and Western Canada Regionals. I always want to say Canadian Regionals. Winning the regionals in 2 countries is a rare feat these days, but Team Taters has done just that. At the Idaho Regional, they were the number 2 ranked team selected by the number 1 alliance. They went on to win. This past weekend at Western Canada, they were the number 1 alliance, and they were absolutely dominant. The entire way, absolutely dominant, led them into the finals. They assisted their alliance in getting pressure bonus on all their elimination matches as they dominated the playoff rounds. See, for you, what might be read back is kind of me with Team Taters. I think they're one of those teams that really flies under the radar, even though they've had ridiculous success in the last 3 years as a team. And yet, we're seeing the recognition here. I mean, 15th is, by the way, in this extremely competitive week with all these district championships and everything going on, a regional that, you might not hear about, like Western Canada, like New York City, for example. There's a lot of competition to go against and a lot of notoriety to go against. And Team Taters is proving time and time again that they are one of the most elite teams in first. And I look forward to hearing how they do at South Champs.
Yeah, certainly. And I think one of the great things about us kind of changing our format a few years ago from having the, once a team is eligible, once a team has played, they're eligible for the rest of the season. Yeah. Changing it to each week is a whole new set of teams really allows us to bring awareness to great teams like 21-22, who's been a really, really great team for the past few years that we've talked about quite a few times.
Absolutely. I mean, as somebody who came on board after you guys implemented that, I think that was one of the best calls ever made, because it just gets more teams recognition out there, and these teams can start building upon their success as they move through.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on to our number 14th spot, it's team number 5406.
From Hannon, Ontario, Canada, Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School, it's Celtax, 33-20 overall, the winners of the G-Town College District event. So one of the great logo bots from Stronghold last year, 5406, to continue the great tradition of quality robots, featuring an awesome side peg auto, which is still pretty rare, and leading an alliance that fought their way all the way to the finals with a consistent 2-rotor auto that's been so rare in Steamworks. That's really that 2-rotor consistency. It was just what their alliance had that no other alliance has had that really allowed them to advance all the way to the finals. So they can also add some fuel if needed, and they're certainly going to be a force at the Ontario District Championship. And good luck to 5406 Celtex. Yeah, that 2-rotor auto was just really cool to see. It's humorous a little bit to see how fast and furious the pilots have to work to get everything situated in that time. But alliances that can pull it off, it looks really coordinated and really awesome to see all 3 robots approach the airship and all the gears come flying up. It's really cool.
That's an interesting point that it's kind of in the back of my mind, but I haven't really fully thought about or analyzed how quickly those pilots have to, because one pilot has to pick up 2 gears. And that's absolutely insane. You must coordinate who picks up what at what time, because you kind of have to go first person places it, and the next person grabs it as the third person's now grabbing their third one and then hands it to the second one or something like that. It's a lot of coordination, like you said. Absolutely.
All right, so moving on to 13th, lucky number 13, we'll talk about team number 78.
From Newport, Rhode Island, Quindec, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Island Robotics, 4-H, it's Airstrike, 46-19 overall, and the winners of the Rhode Island District event. New England District Championship was a hard-fought event, and seating second, well, it's going to be team number 78, Airstrike. They achieved 4 rotors or 40 kPa in every one of their qualification matches, allowing them to finish with a 2.5 ranking score. Their active ground pickup and good coaching allowed them to poach several gears from opposing alliances all week long. They struggled to get the alliance members airborne, which kept them out of the finals, but I think they're going to be ready to go in St. Louis. 78 has been a team that I think typically their consistency, like their personal consistency, has been there. And we saw that all the way through from when they had the week 0 scrimmage. 78 was definitely a factor in a force, and they've been one the entire week through, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, just like we were talking about Team Taters, 78's another team that we've talked about in the FRCTop25 several times. So it's great to see them continuing that success. And I'm really excited to see what they're able to accomplish in St. Louis.
Yeah, me too. I'm very, very excited to see them play as well. Speaking of another team I'm very excited to play, let's move on to our number 12th seed. That's going to be team number 1538.
From San Diego, California, High Tech High School, it's the Hall of Fame Holy Cows, 20-7 overall of the winners of the Las Vegas Regional. So having a month between events allowed the Holy Cows to tune and tweak their quarterfinal robot from San Diego into a regional winning robot in Las Vegas. They were selected to the number 2 alliance and contributed the gears the number 2 alliance needed, is they would get full rotors in all of their elimination matches on their way to their first regional win of the season. So they're ready to go again at the Houston Championship, and we'll be cheering them on the whole way. Good luck to Team 1538, the Holy Cows. It was really funny for me to hear Corsetto calling them the Cows.
Right?
I hadn't heard that before. I kind of like that.
I have heard it, but it's been a long time, I think, since I've heard it, and it kind of brought back some memories for me.
Yeah, it's always funny to hear like how 1538 to us is 1538. It's how I always refer to them, or as the Holy Cows. But teams that are local to them and know them well, they always have like little nicknames and stuff. So the Cows, that's a good way to put it.
I still think they're from Texas every time I hear them too.
Yeah. The cattle.
Yeah, exactly right. So
holy cattle. Doesn't quite have the same ring to it though.
No, not quite.
All right, so as we're quickly approaching the top 10, we're going to pause here at 11 and talk about 49-39.
From Brampton, Ontario, Canada, Central Peter Secondary School, it's Allspark 9, 38-21 overall, and are the winners of Vic Park, Durham College, and McMaster University events. Finally finding themselves in the top 25. Well, it only really took 3 event wins, apparently, to get up here. 49-39 has been the perfect addition to every alliance they have joined. By the way, side note, if you haven't won 3 district events and you're not in the top 25, now you know why. It's interesting that they have won 3 events and never been alliance captains themselves. They'll always be picked. They are a great gearbot, and we hope they'll have a chance to be an alliance captain at the Ontario Championship. They, once again, another one of those robots that has continued to improve every single event. Even though they won all events, you could see just their iterations, their driving skill just kind of get down, and they improved every event. And Allspark 9 is a team that is turning a lot of heads in Canada, and it'll be very interesting to see their performance at the Ontario District Championship, Justin.
Yeah, so, despite them not being an alliance captain, getting selected, I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out for them at the Ontario Championship, whether they'll again be taken early or they'll have the honor of, forming their own alliance. But a great year so far for 49-39. Like we talked about, they've always been that perfect addition. They're just a solid robot that can fill a lot of different voids, and seeing them win again this past weekend at McMaster was really awesome. I'm sure they're very excited for the Ontario District Championship, which, based on the number of Canadian teams we're talked about so far, and if you haven't figured out quite yet, it's going to be a show. So
yeah,
it's going to be. I'm really excited for it.
One thing they add for Allspark 9, they were the ranked number 4 at Victoria Park, so they had, they had that opportunity to be the alliance captain. But at McMaster, they were ranked 26. So pretty low on that for them. And their first event during college, they were ranked 18th. So yeah, it'll be fantastic to see them being alliance captain if they go that route, or otherwise they're sure to be picked up pretty early in the eliminations, even with such a great lineup over at the Ontario District Championship.
Yes, sir.
So for anything that you want to talk about, top 10, I know we got to go through our top 5 alliances, but usually you and Mike take this time to just kind of discuss a few things going on. Anything you wanted to talk about, Justin?
Not in particular, just that I'm really, just based on the play I saw at the district championships that happened this past weekend, I'm really excited for a condensed event schedule this weekend. I think that's going to put a lot of focus on the few events that are playing, and I'm just really excited to see both how Michigan plays out, how Ontario plays out, and how Seven Rivers plays out. I think all three of those events are really going to be cool to watch. I think each event's going to have a very wide audience, and we're really going to get a little bit of a preview of just how good Steamworks can be in those events. And, I don't know how other people in the chat feel, and I won't read them out loud, but if you just want to chime in and I can just get a sense of it. But I'm really interested to see if the opinion of this game, and Tower, you can certainly answer, has your opinion of this game changed? Because I know that really early on it was a brutal game to watch, and even looking back, and when I write some of these event recaps and some of these team-specific slides, I like to look at their previous events, and some of the scores from the previous events were brutally low, and the scores have come a long way. Robots have come a long way. So has Steamworks grown? Is it a top 3 game for you yet, or are you still kind of a little soft on it?
I don't know if it's a top 3 game. It's definitely not on the lower end anymore in my spectrum, I think. So kind of the opposite has happened. My initial complaint was that, no fuel, like everybody's complaint, no fuel's being scored, only do gears, blah, 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 blah. And then we got a couple weeks in, and we're like, oh my God, fuel makes all the difference, that sort of thing. And now we're almost coming full gambit now, saying you have to get the 4 rotors now. And I know people are going to disagree with that, but I think at championships, especially at a high level, you're not going to win if you don't get 4 rotors. But to me, though, that's kind of on the other end. I think this game, and I think Corsetto talked about this a little bit, it's going to cap out. I mean, there's going to be a point where you can only score so many rotors. There's going to be times where teams score these rotors with a minute left. I think that's going to happen more and more often, especially at a deep level in the championships. And it's pretty much now going to be the 4 and D, and the defense is good. I like having defense in games, but if we're taking a whole minute to play defense, it's kind of boring to a certain extent. We want, it's a hard thing. I'm not blaming First on their game design at all for this part in particular, but it's great to be able to see robots keep scoring more fuel, and I think if fuel was worth more, you would see more teams doing it, and I think that's kind of still where my issue is with this game, is that fuel is not worth enough. I don't know how much it should be. Maybe a point per high, maybe a half point or something like that. And climbs are worth way too much still. I have an issue with games that I think it should be important they have the entire alliance work together, but it should not be absolutely detrimental, especially in qualifying rounds when you get paired with a robot that can't climb and does nothing, that it pretty much automatically loses you the match. And I mean, it is such a much higher level. If you don't have, unless you get lucky and the other alliance doesn't have 3 robots climbing, but if you're going against an alliance that has 3 robots climbing, that 4th rotor is great with the extra RP, but it's only worth 40 more points, and it doesn't cancel out a climb.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you want to talk about the top alliances for this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting out, I want to talk about one other thing after this too. So starting out, we had, of course, everybody who voted for top 5 alliances. Thank you. Like I said, we had well over 200 votes, and I think about 140 of those or so voted for top alliances. So we had a very top one, and one that actually surprised me a little bit. So I was very happy to see a couple, or at least one that you might not have expected in there. So we did have a tie for 4th. And that's going to be the first one, the MAR District Championship. Tied for 4th was 1807, 2590, and 3929. Tied for the 4th most voted, popular, best, whatever you want to call it, District Alliance winner this week. Tying them, I think, was the surprise that popped up there, and they had a lot of love from teams that didn't go to that event, which was really cool to see. And that was the Minnesota 10,000 Lakes Regional. So 10,000 Lakes Regional going to teams 5172. We've talked about them a lot, Justin, the Gators, especially last year. We talked about them a lot. 5172, 2509, and 4207 tied for 4th as well. Our number 3 most popular was the Las Vegas Regional, 1678, 1538, and 2637. We talked about this event a lot. Absolutely phenomenal alliance to see work together, and I think had it been the other alliance that would have won, we'd probably be in the same boat too. Those were two absolutely fantastic alliances that we saw in the finals. In number 2 was the McMaster University event, 40-39, 49-39, and 23-86. It's almost like a palindrome or something there. It messes me up a little bit. So of course, Makeshift had an absolutely phenomenal turnout. They had a lot of members of their team vote in the top 25 this week, and they had a lot of love from a lot of other people outside of Canada as well too. So Makeshift, not only do they have a gorgeous robot and gorgeous T-shirts, but they got a lot of love from people outside of Canada and outside the event, and their alliance performed very, very well. Of course, I think they got a lot of attention knocking out OP Robotics and their alliance moving forward. So congratulations to them for being voted number 2. And in number 1, not overwhelmingly, but with a pretty good margin, was going to be the New England Championship. So 21-68, 195, and 10-73. Some absolutely phenomenal teams at this event. My eyes were very glued, of course, in the semifinals, where they faced off against 125's alliance with Elm City Robo Squad, and it was a really awesome battle. And you saw them go to the finals and battle really hard and switch up strategies and play defense, and really it's just an overall fantastic alliance. 21-68, great gear score, 10-73 assisting as well, and of course 195, one of the best field scores in the game, Justin.
Absolutely. So I think, as we've evolved the show, I really enjoy this top 25 or the top 5 alliances.
Yeah.
I don't want to do the top 25 alliances.
No, let's not do that.
Yeah, but it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And we took that suggestion off somebody that posted in Chief Delphi of doing something like that. And, we make it our own and do it the way that we are looking that's going to work out well for this. But, we definitely want to thank you for the suggestions for that as well. And so one other thing I want to talk about is we've mentioned this as we go through every week, and especially this week where you had some very, very high-tier events that we are going to see, certain alliances not voted for, certain teams not voted for. But make sure you check, too, as we go through, it's hard to, we had so many teams compete this week. I think there's about 800 teams that competed this week. So you hear a lot of rumblings about not making the top 25. Well, make sure you check either the top 40 or post afterwards if you want to know where a team lied. The way you got to look at it is almost percentages. If you're only taking the top 25 out of 800, we don't want to have a 6-hour show and go through all of them. So we definitely are, we had to pick a number. That's what we go with. 25 works well, and I think it recognizes some of the top tier teams. But, if you didn't see that team on a list, let us know on Chief Delphi. You can either PM me or post it once we post that tomorrow, and we'll let you know where the team lined up. But even if you're in the top 100 or something like that, you should be pretty, that's pretty awesome that other teams are recognizing you and that you're making it into the top, out of 800 teams, you're getting the top 100. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and really the top 25 is only about 3% of the teams that competed this week. So there are lots of great teams that we don't get to talk about.
Absolutely.
But if anybody else wants to start, the FRC top 500, be my guest.
Yes, just run through it. We'll feed you the data, and you do the show part. We're okay with that. So absolutely. We're going to get a couple people in chat in just a little bit that volunteer. I know it. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be Nick and Bailey, of course.
All right, top 10. You ready for it, Justin?
I'm ready. So you can get it started here.
I will. And our 10th ranked is going to be team number 330.
From Hermosa Beach, California, Hope Chapel Academy, it's the Beach Bots, 27-8 overall, with the winners of the LA and Arizona West regionals. So 330 has perhaps struggled a little bit to get the attention I think they deserve because they haven't competed at those kind of headline events that we've talked about so far this show at least, but they have a great robot. In auto, they sport a side gear auto, which is rare, with a 10-ball, which is even more rare. So to do them together is certainly going to be a very valuable addition to an alliance at the championship event that already sports, a robot that has a nice center gear auto and a hopper auto, so they can help out, towards that 2 rotors, and they can help out towards that 40 kp auto, which makes them a very versatile and very valuable robot. So the defending world champs will be bringing the robot to Houston, looking to defend that title, and they certainly have a great chance to do that. So that's 330, the Beach Bots.
Yeah, I really like that. That side gear auto, which adds a lot of versatility, and then they can score usually 8 out of 10 of their balls or their shots that they shoot in there. I think is going to be a fantastic alliance partner pickup, or it gives them still a good chance to seed number 1 in a division or seed high in a division, because, of course, you would assume that, especially once we get the chance, we're going to see a lot of teams score the center gear in Autonomous, so be able to have the side one to be able to fire, I think is very valuable on their behalf.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so going into single digits, talk about Team 987.
From Las Vegas, Nevada, Cimarron Memorial High School, it's the High Rollers. 20-8 overall, and they're the winners of the Utah Regional. Competing in their own backyard this weekend, it didn't really quite go their way, but they showed enough of their robot's ability to get attentions of voters this week. 97 has still an absolutely fantastic robot. They might have went on the quarters with some difficulties with their alliance. They declined, by the way, moving in against, I think they declined the number 3. They would have had to, right, because number 4 alliance captain. So they declined in. I really thought, they were going to go in the semis and give the number 1 alliance a run for their money, and they won the first match and just could not get it going after that. But yeah, take a look at their robot. I'm still waiting, by the way, to see their strafe and shoot at the same time that was in the reveal video. So High Rollers, if you're listening, we want to see that still. So. But yeah, it's a great robot, absolutely fantastic team. Of course, the Hall of Fame team from last year, and we're very excited to see them. I think they're going to Houston, if I remember correctly. So it'll be really cool to see their robot perform at the level that I think a lot of people expect them to. But they're still getting a lot of love here in the number 9 spot of the FRC Top 25.
Yeah, and one of the coolest things they do is they place a gear and hit the hopper auto. So that's just a super valuable trait that, again, is very rare. And I think it's, as we talk about the fuel being the tiebreaker and, need four rotors, it's these robots that have these really unique, very specialized traits that not all other robots have that are going to just be exemplified and become more important at the World Championship as the divisions are even more watered down a little bit than even a regional. So it's going to be exciting to see how these teams shake out.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see some of these teams that, we've talked about them this year, right? And I won't elaborate too long on it, that this is a game where it's very easy to get knocked out in the quarters of the semis and still be a top tier team because you're so alliance driven on that. And one thing goes wrong. It reminds me almost of 2015 with the qual score thing. It's like, you screwed up one match, you're done. And we're seeing, I think, a bit of that here as well too.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to our number 8th ranked team. That's going to be team number 125.
From Boston, Massachusetts, Boston Latin, Brookline, and Revere High Schools, it's the Neutrons. 51 and 35 overall. We're the semifinalists at the New England District Championship. So still looking for the first win of the season after 5 events. 125 had still a heck of a season. Finding partners who can climb reliably seems to be their biggest struggle. So one thing to look for as the quality of their machine, they might be the most copied robot of the year. They're very unique but very efficient. Ball feeding system is really cool. If you haven't seen it, you should take a look at it. A number of other teams are taking a look at it and trying to implement it the best that they can on their robots. So really cool, really unique, and really effective. So their fuel scoring ability, I think, is going to be their ticket to a top speed in St. Louis. And, like I said, they still haven't found the success I think that they would want. But I think their fuel ability is really going to help them pick it up at championships. So good luck to 125, the Neutrons.
Yeah, as Christine mentioned, I think they're happy with where their robot's at, and I think they just need to have a little bit more luck with some of their alliances. Absolutely fantastic team, and I really look forward to seeing their bot at North Champs.
Yep, definitely. All right, so moving along, we're talking a little bit about a team we've talked about a couple of times already.
Yeah.
Team number 4039.
From Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, St. Mary Catholic Secondary School, it's Makeshift Robotics, 46-12 overall, and they're the winners of 3 events, most recently the McMaster University event. Makeshift is often found playing third or worse behind some of the other great Canadian teams, but if one thing defies 4039 this season, it's just winning. They have only won the number 1 rank once this season. Most recently were the number 4 Alliance captain and defeated, of course, a lot of eyes were on the number 1 led 2056 Alliance to advance and win the event. So 4039 picking, of course, Allspark 9, which we just talked about a little bit before, just composed a very well-built alliance that just scored, played the right defense they need to, and just worked out really well. Makeshift is a great gearbot with the ability to add some fuel as well, too. They aren't flashy. Well, they're robots flashy, but they are really good at what they do, and it's truly impressive to watch the consistency that can come out of Makeshift. They also have a District Chairman's Award and District Engineering Inspiration Award this season, and an absolutely fantastic set of accomplishments for one of the best all-around teams in FRC. So good luck to 4039 Makeshift Robotics at the Ontario District Championship.
Absolutely. Just as we continue talking about these Canadian teams, I'm really excited to watch that entire district championship this weekend. Like I know a lot of people are, but it's really going to be awesome to see the elimination rounds at that event.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we have, there's only 3 events going on, so there's no reason you shouldn't be able to watch all of them at the same time. Even with 4 fields going on in Michigan, it's going to be really cool. And I know, I'll be at Seven Rivers, as I mentioned. We're broadcasting that event for them on our channel. But of course, I'm going to have FIM and Ontario champs up as well too, and trying to catch all that as long as the bandwidth allows me to. Always, I might have it on my phone on the side.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving to our number 6 spot, Justin, is going to be team number 2168.
From Groton, Connecticut, Robert E. Fitch High School, it's the Aluminum Falcons. 63 match wins, only 12 losses, and winners of 4 events this season, most recently being the New England District Championship. So 2168 figured out how to play Steamworks as fast as anyone, and they've been cruising along the New England region ever since. This past weekend, they seeded first with an additional ranking points award in all but 2 of their qualification matches, but they're not getting it with fuel. They're dominating the rotary game. I didn't think first would remove any pre-populated gears. Turns out that was true. But the success of 2168 had me questioning that at least a little bit. They, along with 195 and 1073, had 4 rotors and 40 kPa done with 50 seconds left in the match when they were really going good. So it's really impressive, and good luck in St. Louis to team 2168, the Aluminum Falcons.
Speaking about New England District Championships, I think we got another one for you, Justin.
Do we now?
We do.
Team number in the 5th spot, 195.
From Southington, Connecticut, Southington High School, it's the Cyber Knights, 53-16 overall, the winners of the Hartford event and New England District Championship. Currently a world record holder and tied for the world record score of 517, the Cyber Knights put an exclamation point on an already awesome job by winning the New England District Championship. It took 195 a little bit of time to get rolling, finishing as semifinalists, but in their first 2 events, but finished strong in their last 2. They're an extremely efficient scoring machine, earning an additional ranking point in most of their matches. They have won the past 3 New England District Championships and look to make an impact once again at the World Championship in St. Louis. So you have the 2-ball auto last year, Justin, and now you have an absolutely fantastic multiple kPa auto from 195. I think they're going to be one of the top favorites to win a division this year.
Absolutely, and they're one of the best teams in FRC. Three New England District Championships in a row. It's hard to win in FRC at all. It's hard to do anything twice, but to win it 3 times in a row is really crazy. So good luck and congrats to them. I've had opportunity to play with and against 195. They're a great team from top to bottom, so it's good stuff from 195.
All right, let's move on to our final 4, starting out with team number 148.
From Greenville, Texas, Greenville High School, it's the Robo Wranglers, 33-16-0 overall, were the finalists of the Dallas, Lone Star North, and Las Vegas Regionals. So despite not winning a regional this season, Team 148 is primed and ready to make another strong run at a World Championship. Since their 2008 championship win, 148 has returned to Einstein in 2013, 2015, and 2016. The robot they have can do it all, and though they haven't quite put it all together yet, they have a great chance to dominate their division and once again make a trip to the Einstein field. So congrats on a great regular season to 148 and good luck at the St. Louis Championship. So I'm really excited that 148 allowed that provision, or first allowed the provision for some teams to switch their championships, because 148 was really in a tough spot with Houston, and they're so involved with Vex Worlds being at the same weekend. So, from a team that's going to World Champs, I was really excited to see that, and it really works out for them too. So that's good.
Yeah, and if you're 148, man, like how many times do you have to be finalists? And you got to you just got to hope you have something to put you over the top. They've changed their robot pretty drastically from event to event as well too, between their ground pickup and their shooting mechanisms and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they have in the pipeline for North Champs and what they're going to bring to the table for that. But 148, I mean, as Corsetto said earlier, if you're 118, tough decision to make, but 148 was making some absolutely fantastic runs and shuttling, the robot's so fast. I mean, it's literally so fast that, like, you can tell their driver's a really good driver, but even they have a little bit of trouble almost controlling that bot because it goes so fast to try to slow it down and make turns. It's really difficult to do, but man, do they zip across the field.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to...
This show is really putting my voice out.
It's taxing you a bit, huh?
It is tasking a little bit.
We're almost done, though.
I know, I've been blaming my job about my inability to rest my voice, but maybe it's the show. We are almost done, though. Into our top three to talk about team number 2056.
From Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, Orchard Park Secondary School, it's OP Robotics. OP didn't have the end result that they are used to, finishing as semifinalists for the first time in their history this past weekend at the McMaster event, but taking nothing away from that fantastic robot that they have. They achieved a 40 kPa bonus in all but one of their qualification matches, and the only other Canadian machine that can compete with that is Symbotics in kPa, which means that one of them will most likely take number one, moving on to the Ontario District Championships. I think the question is, though, will they pick each other, especially with the way that gear shuttling is looking at? I think that's going to be interesting the way to play out, and I'm not sure the way that's going to go. But we'll see if they take number one seed. Man, you can only take them the first banner once, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. The robot's really good. They had some unfortunate circumstances with, if you watch that the semifinal match that they lost in match 3, it was a drop gear at the last moment. And actually, I'll bring it up here because it was pretty intense in the final about 15 seconds or so. So let's take a look at that. As they try to score a final gear onto the bot, you see they tried to get on twice, and they had to make the decision of when to climb. So they decided to release and try to get up, and they were able to climb, but just could not get that last gear to get them going. And that it's a tough decision to make. Once again, that's the thing, is you got to get all 3 robots climbing. In this case, you got to get 4 gears or 4 rotors and 3 robots climbing. And 2056, I think, undoubtedly has one of the best robots in the world still. They just got knocked out a little bit early in their circumstance and what they're used to a great alliance.
Yeah, you make a great point about the 2056 1114. Do they make a good combination together? They already did win a district event together, but I think the game has evolved a lot since then, and other teams have kind of really improved. So it's going to be interesting. If one of them does seed first, how they put that alliance together.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even actually think about that until we started talking about it now too. About I wonder if that's the right choice. And the one thing I'll tell you is that as fantastic friends that 2056 and 1114 are, do not expect them to pick each other just because they're buddies. They're going to pick each other because they want to win the event. And if that doesn't seem like that's the best pick for them, I don't think it will happen. And it will be interesting to see how that decision is made. And I'm going to make a prediction here. I don't think it happens.
Really?
I'm saying it right now. Side note, by the way, I don't have to worry about Tyler saying anything to us about them being the number 2 spot.
Yeah, right. That's a big benefit.
Sorry, buddy. All right. Speaking about that, all the drama's in the 2 spot, Justin, as you guys like to say.
That's right. So at this point, people like to hop out once they know who the top 25 is. So we thank you guys once again for both voting and tuning in. Again, we had almost 200 people watching this week. I wasn't paying too close attention to it, so maybe it was over 200 at one point. So that's just incredible. So subs, followers, all that stuff, thank you very much. And we'll talk about the top 2 teams here.
One thing I do want to mention, too, is that we are going to do that giveaway that Christine drew of the 2012 33 robot. So if you're interested in winning that, make sure you stick around. We're going to do that pretty close to after we announce the number 1 seed. And you need to be a follower or subscribe to us, and we're going to have a key phrase that you'll need to type in order to win that. So make sure you stick around if you're interested in winning that as well. All right. In our number 2 spot, it's going to be team number 118.
From League City, Texas, Clear Creek High School, it's the Robotics. 37-13 overall. The winner is the Lone Star Regional. So 118 competed most recently at the densely packed Las Vegas Regional, besting all their teams in the qualification rounds to seed number 1 overall. Though they cannot earn the regional win, the power of the robot showed through, and they are a favorite, I believe, to win the Houston Championship. The robot is already a prolific fuel scorer, features a very fast climb, and is also a great gear robot. So they have it all, and I think 118 really is poised to take home the Houston Championship, which I think, being having the championship in their home state, pretty close actually to where they are, would mean a lot to them. And even though my slide says good luck in St. Louis, it's certainly the Houston Championship for 118.
Wishful thinking, huh?
Yeah, right. Actually, no, I'm happy. Keep them down there.
That's true. I would love to see that bottom person. And I'm sure hopefully they'll be going to IRI, so I'll get that opportunity too. But yeah, I mean, that every year they build a sexy bot. It's definitely not an exception. So with that said, we're down to our number 1. Hopefully you guessed it here. What do you think, Justin?
Yeah. Well, I hope that Corsetto at least hung around long enough to learn that team number 1 this week in the 6th week of FRC Top 25 is team number 1678.
From Davis, California, Davis Senior High School, it's the Citrus Circuits. 1678 is 39-7 overall, and they're winners of the Central Valley, Sacramento, and Las Vegas regionals. 3 events this season, 1678, earning those gritty wins that builds confidence, can set you up for success at the World Championship. Passed over by 118 despite seeding second overall in Vegas, 1678 met that alliance in the finals and took the regional win in 3 matches, 3.5 really. This was the 3rd year in a row that 1678 has won 3 regionals, plus their division wins, plus the World Championship wins in the past. It's not never ending. In 1678, they're the best right now. I mean, they're absolutely phenomenal. And, you can look at, 2054 and a couple other teams out there. And I think 1678, from a well-rounded standpoint, not only can they shoot, they may not be the best shooter in the world, they can score gears extremely efficiently. And that combination, to me, really sets them on top.
Yeah, no question about it. I just think that, as I was researching their team a little bit, I always like to try some fun facts. 3 regional wins for 3 years in a row, I'm not sure what's more impressive, that or their Einstein streak. I just think it just shows the success that they have, the consistency they have, all sorts of good stuff.
Yeah, the bots, the team is crazy. I mean, it's an absolutely fantastic, well-rounded team. That they're going to do really well. And god dang it, I did it again, by the way. Every single time I type in Citrus Circuits, I associate the wrong team number. I didn't even notice that. Do you see that?
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Every single time. Like, even when I typed in like the preview for sure showing it, I typed 1676, and I have to go back and retype it over. So, oh my goodness, we're going to get hate mail this week, Justin.
Of course, that was a pretty nice guy. I think he'll be okay. Also, Ryan is going to be pretty happy.
He's going to be stoked every time, though. He's like, man, I wish that was my number or something. Or man, I wish that was my team name. Hold on. We can do a quick edit here, right? Let's do this. What do you mean that it's already in use? Oh yeah. Let's see. What should we call them instead?
The short circuits.
Short circuits. Hold on. Well, we'll do a little 8 there, right? And just kind of overlay it. And close enough. That 8 looks good there, right? Nobody knows anymore. It doesn't matter. So,
it's like one of those ones. It's like you mumble under your breath. Yeah, it's 16 70.
Yeah, whatever's at the end there. It's all good. So, alrighty. Wow, man, we got through it. Week 6, week 7 is coming up. We're going to be doing a final FRC Top 25 next week. I think we'll announce that date then, right?
Yep, sounds awesome.
Yeah, so that's coming up soon, and it's getting late here once again. We made pretty good time overall. If you didn't see before, we're going to have that drawing coming up here, by the way. It looks like I was going to say I thought that the keyword leaked in chat, but apparently we just have some random guessers that can figure it out. But with that said, we're going to start our giveaway in just a moment here. The keyword, if you're interested, is going to be since it's 33 in 2012, and Michigan State champs is coming up. You're going to need to type in Zondag, Z-O-N-D-A-G. So once again, if our mods can help us out to remind people that they need to be followed or subscribed, but type in Zondag. That will get you an entry in order to be in. Unless your opponent is Nick, you're not eligible anymore. Don't worry about it. We took you out. Type that in. That will get you a chance to win the drawing from Christine from Wordplay All Day of the 2012 robot from 33. So spam Zondag as many times. The more you spam it, the more entries you get. Not really. And once again, if you're a subscriber, that will get you an opportunity for 5 times luck on there, which I'm going to set right here. Subscriber is 5 times more likely to win the giveaway. That's what we do here. And thank you for subscribing. Once again, you can do so for free through Twitch Prime or for only a few bucks a month. We appreciate it. It gets you some emotes. It supports us. It keeps us going. And that's what we need. To run this stuff, believe it or not, it does cost money. And we throw everything back into the program right now to keep it going for you guys. So we appreciate your appreciation in us. So thank you so much. We'll do that drawing in just a little bit. And if you do want to get more Wordplay All Day, make sure you look up Wordplay All Day on Facebook, Twitter, or on Etsy, and you can get some of our really cool products. So, Justin, I don't know if you had a chance to look at her page at all on some of the stuff that she has. Have you had an opportunity? I'm throwing you on the spot.
I have, and it's really impressive. And I think, one of the things I'm thinking about doing is just creating an alliance thing or something like that would be really cool to have her feature all 3 robots on your alliance. I'm sure she'd be certainly willing to do something like that. So lots of cool opportunities there for some really unique artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. We also do want to thank everybody who has become part of Fun Nation. We talked about those subscribers and people who are making it happen and donating your bits. So thank you very much. Just to read off a couple here as we go through recently. So some resubs as well too, by the way. So thank you very much for that. It looks like actually we had some issues with our bot capturing some of the subscribers. So I'm sorry if you missed you. Of course, Pauline was subscribing. Bad Ink, Jink subscribing. It's Suspicio subscribing. Resub for 2 months there. Thank you, Indy Sam. AWOL Link, I think earlier today was subscribing as well too. 4N3WL for subscribing. Thank you very, very much. And of course, for your bits, all the fantastic people. Robo Greg, our buddy in chat, subscribing. And he actually spammed up my whole amount of who's given bits. But I know, of course, Stone Money has done some, and I saw a couple others in there. So thank you for your bits. Thank you for your donations. You can also donate directly to us. There is a link on our Twitch page as well, too, if you're interested in direct donations. That go to support us. Thank you very much, everybody who's making this possible.
So Nick will be very offended if we don't say that. He is now also a subscriber. So thank you, Nick.
All right. Sorry if I didn't catch you there, guys. So
see, look, wow, no shout out, thanks. I know I'd be upset.
You called it right there. All right, we're going to do that drawing once again. So if you are interested in doing it, you have about 20 seconds left after you hear this to do that. But we do want to thank everybody for making the show possible. We do also have some new T-shirts available on our website, thanks to Two Pencil Design. So go to First Updates now. Check out our T-shirts. I'm working at trying to get some other designs up there, guys. Just a lot of stuff going on right now. So we'll see if we can do that. We'll probably do one for the final FRCTop25. Have the final teams printed. So if you make it, you can get yourself a T-shirt for that as well. Full buffet shows coming up this week. Once again, we're putting some other shows on pause as we get into the championships. But we are covering Seven Rivers Regional on Friday and Saturday. No Thursday coverage for practice matches. Just a heads up for that. But make sure you tune in to either Blue Alliance or First Updates Now or twitch.tv/First Updates Now to catch the Seven Rivers Regional. We are planning on doing Game Day Live in person at the event, by the way. I don't even know if you knew about that yet, Justin, but we're very excited to try that out. We did it in Australia a little while ago. So I've asked, I don't know if I want to say who, because I think people might tune out. I'm not sure if we could say who's doing it with me. So we'll let that be. He can say it in chat if he's interested. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. Myself and mystery person who's going to be joining me if we can get that going. It's going to be very dependent on the feed and all that, but we're very excited to do Game Day Live, if possible, live from the Seven Rivers Regional. So we hope that you will check that out. All right. So with that said, let's do our roll. See who's going to win. And very fitting here, Justin. I won the reward. Subscriber since February 25th, so a long time subscriber in RN since we've just started in February. Congratulations. You won the reward. I won the reward. So make sure you PM me a message. Congratulations for doing that. Hey, we got a subscriber one too, so that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And Nick, I'm sorry by the way that we hurt your feelings. It is rigged. Everybody just post that it's rigged. We know what it is. Hashtag rigged. Get it going on there as well. All right, so thank you once again. Justin, before we wrap up, man, anything from you want to talk about?
No, I just like to, I'm always blown away, regardless of how long we've been doing this, about the support we get and participation we get in the chat and in voting on Chief Delphi, on Facebook. All that stuff means a lot to us. So keep it coming. Thanks a lot, and good luck this weekend if you're competing.
Absolutely, yeah. Good luck this weekend. And I won the reward. Just shoot me either a direct message in Twitch or hit me up on Facebook, so we can get that shipped out to you, and Christine can send that up to you. So thank you, everybody, once again. We hope that you tune in to all of our shows and support us, and we thank you for that support. Once again, you can find out more on our Facebook page. We'll have the top 40 listed on Chief Delphi by tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. And if you're interested in where your team lied, you can always shoot me a PM or a post in that Chief Delphi thread. So on behalf of myself and Justin, and do also want to thank Pauline for being our co-host today and popping on earlier, of course, Mike Corsetto, and also our producer Nick, who is not on today, and Mike, who is on vacation. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll take a couple of questions afterwards in chat. Justin, if you can't say, that's fine. If you can, great. But we do want to thank everybody for tuning in once again to First Updates Now recap with the FRC Top 25. We'll see you next week for the final FRC Top 25 and Salt Champs previews. We'll talk to you then.